Oh, there we go. Can you hear me now? All good? There we go. I don't know what happened. Maybe because I finally shut down my computer last weekend, and then when I turn it back on, I don't know, all the settings change. But I think we are good now. Okay. Welcome again, everyone. Take two. Welcome. Sages to Lore Academia. I am DMPaulG, who doesn't know how to save his settings for stream, and that I should reboot more often and see what settings need to be set properly. Yep, exactly. Yep, something we learn. Yep, something new to learn. But yes, I'm Dion Paul G. I write adventures, mostly for Adventures League. I'm also one of the storyline coordinators for the Moonshae Isles together with the super awesome Savannah Houston McIntyre at Baldwin Games. And yeah, so what do we do here? If you're new, it's your first time here in stream, uh, then we read adventures, we read source books, we interview people, and we extract as much lore as we can to enhance our game experience, or for me, to be able to write more adventures that are, connected to the lore, or as much as possible, less plot holes. Basically, it's part of my job. And right now, since I'm one of the storyline coordinators for the Moonshae Isles, we're trying to get as much lore as we can uh, in that setting, in that group of islands. So yes, welcome to Lore Academia, where dogs bark and motorcycles pass by and extract lore. This is the place. Uh, so here, right now, what are we doing? So it's a new week. Um, this is good because we're making progress. This is the last adventure module for the Moon 4 series. So if you have no idea what we're talking about, right now we are actually reading adventures in the Rising Shadows storyline. This is the latest event or set of events that have happened in the Moonshae Isles. This is a produced by Ballman Games, and kind of like the main architect here, who I respect so much, is Eric Mengi, uh, and kind of like I hope my I can call him my mentor. As I ask him a lot of questions about the Moonshae Isles, and hopefully one day we can have an interview with him, right? Ask him questions, and also the challenges of writing the Rising Shadows and the good stuff about creating the Rising Shadows, all that stuff. So yeah, so if you're new here, yes, we are. There is a story path that we're following. So let me try to show you that. So here is the Moonshae Rising Shadow story path. So remember, this is the latest set of events that have happened in the Moonshae Isles, a group of islands the west of the Sword Coast. So just continue traveling there westward, and you'll find the archipelago of the Moonshae Isles. There. And we started reading Moon 1 Adventures, and then we moved to Moon 2, and then except for Moon 1 and Moon 20, every circle here is actually composed of 3 adventures. So that means for Moon 2, there's Moon 2 1 to Moon 2 3, and then same for Moon 3, and now we're at Moon 4. We're at the last adventure of the Moon 4 trilogy. Tomorrow, once we stream, we're gonna start with Moon 5 until we reach Moon 20. That's what we're doing. It's not motorcycles or dogs barking. That's just the sound of lore extractor pumping. Yeah, you know what? Let's immerse ourselves. That's right. That's right. If for some reason we create like a new setting, where there's like a lore academia, and then kind of like Candlekeep, then I'll make sure that there are like dogs around that area and some, I don't know, artificers trying to create like a vehicle type contraption, right? And make sure that we are we have the right lore and immerse correctly with that, right? And Moon 4 is mostly about the Fade Dark creatures and stuff, where Moon 3 was about dwarves. That's correct. That's correct. Right now, we are still in the Isle of Alaron, um, which is the eastmost island in the Moonshae Isles. It's also where the seat of power is at, where the capital of the Caladir Kingdom, Ker Caladir, is located, and that's where the High King of the Folk, spelled with two F's, uh, is located. And here, there's a lot of dark fae activity going on, and we'll see what is actually going on, because now we are going to the gate to the unknown, so we have no idea what's gonna happen next. If you miss our previous streams, I'm not sure if the VOD is still available on Twitch. If not, then it will be on YouTube. You could check that out. But yeah, let's dig into this last adventure module and learn what's in this gate to the unknown. What's on the other side? Okay. So, this is, again, you can see the code, the adventure codes. If you play Adventures League, you know that there's like adventure codes to make it easier to track. If you forget the title, then at least you know the code. And this is written by J Africa. And to the end, yes, you could sing it as we go through the tunnels and find out what's going on. Okay, let's do this. Yeah, it's written by J Africa, so this should be good. The deep gnomes rather, of the Fair Height Mountains have come to Ker Caladir in dire need. There's a new threat. A new threat has been discovered in the depths of the mountains. Can you venture into the tunnels of Sligin Giosel? I hope there's a pronunciation guide somewhere. And uncover the source of these mysterious attacks. This is a 4-hour D&D adventure that you could use for Adventures League, which is the organized play system of 5th edition, for 1st to 4 level characters, brought to you by Baldman Games. All right, so I guess we're going back to the Fair Height range, or Fair Height mountains, because in the Moon 3 series, where we dealt with the dwarven clans of Rustfire and Rookoats, that was set in the Fair Height range, and we met some Feydark. Learn about Queen Koname, the Queen of Fomorians. We learn about a shadow dragon named... We have notes. We should be able to get the name. Preumbrant. And then we have the orcs there as well, the orc tribes. So I guess we're going back there, but we're not gonna focus on the dwarves. We're gonna focus on the deep gnomes. So, all right, let's see. The words they use there seem like it should be like a Gaelic or Irish type pronunciation. Let's see. If it is, I don't think I'll be able to pronounce it. Even if I know in my head how to pronounce it, my tongue will just not cooperate. So we will see. So if you're new here, you know that if you're new here, then we focus mostly on the parts where we can extract lore. So we skip the stuff that has like technical info, or not all the time, but most of the time we skip stuff where we know we're not going to learn anything about the Moonshae Isles. Sometimes we discuss writing styles, design, game design, encounter creation, all that stuff. But most of the time, since this is lore academia, we just try to read all the parts where we can extract lore. So That's why we're skipping ahead and getting towards gonna go towards adventure primer or the adventure background there. And let's see, what do we have here? I shall never get used to the day. The night sometimes brings comfort. Looking up at the moonless sky, I can almost imagine that the stars are glowing mushrooms and that the comfort of a cavern ceiling rests above. Dimphna Dark Eye, Dwarven Bard of High Bastion. Okay. Off to the Sword Coast. Oh, I like this introduction to the adventure background. Off to the Sword Coast, where the Sea of Sword reaches out into the boundless expanse of the trackless sea. This is like a introduction to like a movie or a TV series. Rests the mist-covered, rain-drenched Moonshae Isles. A perfect description. An archipelago of breathtaking vistas and raw natural beauty. The island's pastoral landscapes disguise the undercurrent of political machinations that pit its various kingdoms against one another openly or otherwise. On the island of Alaron, High King Darid Kendrick, or House Kendrick, rules the kingdom of Caladir from his castle Cair Caladir, overlooking the capital city of the same name, though it's sometimes called Caladir Town. See, they know that it's confusing, so they addressed it right here at the adventure background, because the town or the city and the castle are called the same, and in the kingdom is also called Caladir. And in parentheses, they just, you know what, just call the town or the city Caladir Town, like London Town, something like that. Eric Mengi taught me that also. Though once the rulers of a much larger domain, House Kendrick's holdings now encompass only a portion of Alaron, and the task of maintaining civilization and order in the wilds surrounding Cair Caladir falls on High King Darid's shoulders. An opportunity to expand that order has presented itself to the High King. The deep-known city of High Bastion in the Fair Height Range has sent 2 delegates to the capital city. Trouble has arisen at High Bastion. And, oh man, I know these gnomes. The Swervneblin. The Swervneblins need assistance dealing with it. That's not how you pronounce it. That's not the correct one. But, man, that's as close as I can get. Unseen machinations. All right. Unbeknown to the House Kendrick and deep gnomes of High Bastion, forces of the Unseelie Court have set their sights on Alaron. From the southern islands of Gwyneth and Snowdown, the Unseelie Fae are pushing their forces through weaknesses in the planar membrane, establishing hidden presence in Cair Corwell and Cair Westfall. They struck an alliance with Lady Erlisa Darisin, the Viceroy of Snowdown, who was eager to conquer the Moonshae Isles to the north. To aid Lady Erlisa, the Unseelie Court sent one of their agents, a renegade half-elf druid named Hewden. Hewden gained access to the southern reaches of is the pronunciation here? Yeah. Slihan Giusal. Slihan Giusal. Oh man, I think that's the closest we can get, right? Any help you can give, chat, fellow sages, let me know. Slihan Giusal, a set of tunnels that used to connect the dwarven civilizations below Alaron to those dwarven home below Gwyneth. Oh, okay. Wait a second. Hold back, hold back. We need to read that again. Hewden gained access to the southern reaches of Slean Geosel, which is a set of tunnels that used to connect the dwarven civilizations below Alaron to those of dwarven home below Gwyneth. Okay? The Rustfire dwarves of Gwyneth fled through. Oh, okay. Slean Geosel. I'm gonna get. It might take some time to get used to that. To their Rookout cousins in the Fair Height range. To the north, uh, to their Rookout cousins to the Fair Height range to the north during their great exodus from Dwarven home. The Face conquest has encroached on several deep known settlements that were also connected to the tunnel system, and this has forced the occupants to flee. The Deep Gnomes found shelter in an old dwarven city called High Bastion, and they have taken it over. Meanwhile, Hewden and Lady Eliza are slowly claiming more portions of Slean Gisel, making their way north towards unsuspecting Caer Caladir, an unseen threat to House Kendrick and the rest of the Moonshae Isles. I'm sorry if I read that weird. I'm trying to focus on some information here. Let's read the location summary before I start, just assuming stuff. So we have Caer Caladir, okay, which is the capital city of the Kingdom of the Moonshaes, where High King Dared Kendrick rules. House Kendrick's territories on the island of Alaron. High Bastion, which is a Sniverneblan city in the Fair Height range, north of Caer Caladir, a failed experiment by dwarven clans to establish a surface presence. It has been taken over by deep known refugees. Slehan Gisel, which is a network of tunnels and caverns beneath Moonshae Isles that used to connect dwarven societies on Alaron and Gwyneth, used by the Rustfire dwarves to flee Gwyneth and seek refuge with the Rookout clan. And then the Silent Depths, a portion of Slean Gisel that have been claimed by dangerous creatures and malignant forces. So Gisel is the gnomish name for the tunnels of Dwarven home. Yeah, I think that's what's happening here. If we look at the map, look at our map. Where is our map? There we go. We don't have a Sleon Geosel. We have the tunnels of Dwarvenholm. This is what connects Alaron to the Isle of Gwyneth. And in the previous adventures, we learned, or even the previous trilogy, we learned that Clan Rustfire used the tunnels of Dwarvenholm to escape the dark fae that attacked them and fled towards the Isle of Alaron and allied themselves with Clan Rookout. Here, the tunnels of Dwarvenholm is being referred to as Slean Geosel. Yep. I'm sure different cultures would have different names for it. That's what I'm assuming as well. So just to make sure that we don't get confused. So there's another term for it with this. Also, the author has been saying that the Rustfire's homes are part of a place called Dwarvenholm. That's an interesting bit of info, right? Where is that? Here we go. Used to connect the dwarf civilization below Alaron to those dwarven home below Gwyneth. So I guess that the homes, or that's just a general term of like if it's a there's a, I don't know, a clan or a group of dwarves living in an area, you call it dwarven home, right? So does that mean the area where the Rookoats are at are also called dwarven home, or is this a particular name of a place, right? I want to know if the place where the Rookoats used to live, which is in Gwyneth, is that called dwarven home? Yeah, the tunnels that connect the two dwarven homes. Yeah, that's what I must. Okay, I think that's a safe assumption. I thought we got a name for the place where the not the Rookout, where the Rustfire used to live. All right, that would have been great if we know what to call the place where the Rookouts used to live, because they just said that in previous adventures they just live below the Cambro Mountains in the Isle of Gwyneth, but they don't really tell you the name of the place. So I guess it's not Dwarven home. That's just like a general term. Okay. But so with the events of the Moon 3 trilogy, it's not just the dwarves that got affected. The deep gnomes also got involved in this, because with the face conquest, the gnome settlements that were also connected to the tunnel system has forced the occupants to flee, and the deep gnomes found shelter in an old dwarven city called High Bastion and have taken it over. Let's see if it's on the map. Do the other Forgotten Realms lore, do they call them Dwarven Home or Clan Store? Yeah, actually, let's say let's see, dwarven home, D&D. There's a dwarf home, which is a lawful good aligned astral dominion. Oh, that's the name of the plane, a dwarf home. Moradin made his domain along with his wife, Baranar, and they called the place Dwarf Home. That's it. It's a celestial plane, and they call it Dwarf Home. I guess, yeah. That's how you would call it, like Dwarven homes, yeah, since Moradin himself calls this place Dwarf Home. Okay. All right, so let's go through this. Let's see what else can we learn. So we have, oops, I think I need to go back. We need to put some information here. So we have some places. We have Caer Caladir. We have High Bastion, which is an old dwarven city, now occupied by deep gnomes. All right. And then we have, I'm just gonna copy paste this. Another term for the tunnels of Dwarven Home. And then we have the Silent Depths. Portions. I'm just gonna copy paste this. Portions Okay. All right. So I think it's safe to assume that clans would call their or dwarves would call their clan region dwarf home or dwarven home. Yep, I think so. Okay. So we have that high bastion. I just need to make sure because I saw something that they used to flee using the southern part of the tunnels. There we go. Huden gained access to the southern reaches of uh, Slihan Geosal. Alright, so I'm assuming that the southern part is the Silent Depths. Okay. There we go. Here, this part. Okay. Adventure overview. Going back here. In Gate to the Unknown, the characters are introduced to the human city of Ker Caladir and the deep gnome city of High Bastion. They meet the leaders of those communities and are recruited by representatives of two Snurvneblin's seats. Is that how you pronounce? That's a new word for me. Yeah. I don't know how to pronounce that. A seat is an extended gnome family. Okay. That I can use. All right. New words. A seat is. Where is that? To delve into the earth of the Fair Height Range. There, they discover threats large and small, perhaps unearthing a plot that foretells mass destruction for Ker Caladir. No, what's going on? The Adventures is broken down into 4 parts. Let's see if this is gonna be long or it's just a short adventure. Part 1, the adventurers sail into or otherwise find themselves in Ker Caladir. At the royal castle of High King there, they meet the royalty of Ker Caladir and two deep gnome delegates that ask for their help. In part 2, the Snurvneblin delegates, leaders of the Shelvain and JT seats. I guess that's what you call the clan, right? Which we should put here. We're gonna put it under factions. Shelvain, Seat, and JTC. Alright, these are Deep Gnome family. Same with the other one. Okay. Travel with the adventurers to High Bastion, a formerly dwarven city now occupied by deemed known refugees in the Fair Height Range. From High Bastion, they delve into the northern reaches of Slihan Geosal, where they must persuade a number of deep gnome seats to join forces against oncoming threats. Okay? Beneath the Fair Height Range, the party travels from one Snifnerblin seat to another, making allies, encountering subterranean creatures, and gathering clues about the threats that have been plaguing the Snifnerblin. And delving further, they find an ominous portal leading into the old, sealed-off, far-away portions of Sligian Geosal. Once sealed to prevent pursuance from entering, dark forces have claimed and reopened the caverns beyond in order to ready a plot of great destructive power. The adventurers must face deadly creatures and hopefully delay the dark forces' advance into Alaron. Okay. About Snervin Neblin. You keep adding an extra N at the beginning. I do? Oh, yeah, I keep saying yeah, I Sphere. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I do add the. I pronounce it as SNI. It's SVIR. Okay. My brain registered the V as N for some reason. Zvernevlin. Alright. Okay. Let's see if there's a pronunciation guide somewhere in the internet. Okay. Sphere. Okay. Sphere. Sphere Neblin. Sphere Neblin. Sphere. Oh, there's an F. Sphere. Sphere Neblin. Alright. Sphere Neblin. Yeah. Yeah, the EERF is kind of like a ear sound. Zvirf. Zvirf Neblin. Zvirf Neblin. Okay, that's gonna. Oh man, let's see how long till I get used to it. Adventure hooks. Again, if you're using this adventure, connecting it to your campaign, or you play the previous Moonshae Isle adventures, these are the hooks that you as a dungeon master can use to make your the player's characters be able to play this adventure. So, if they're heroes of the Moonshaes, then isolated and fractured, the archipelago of the Moonshae Isles is rife with conflict, both natural and political. The various kingdoms of city-state are in constant need of protection. Caer Caladir in Alaron is one of the larger, more civilized bastion in the Moonshaes, and a good place to find adventuring work. It is here that you've decided to make a name for yourself on the islands. Or you can use the treasures of the unknown adventure hook, and due to the Moonshae's distance from the Sword Coast and the lands of the north, much has yet to be learned of the natural and man-made resources of the islands have to offer. Having learned enough of the mainland, you've set your sights to the Moonshae Isles, looking to fill your pouch with whatever treasures you can get your hands on. Okay. Know your gnomish. Thank you, J Africa. Thank you to the author for having this sidebar. I hope we can learn more about the gnomes. So this adventure revolves around the Sphere Neblins in the Moonshaes. The following terms are important to understand the gnome society. So the seat is taken from the name for a gathering of badgers. If I got it right, yeah, you pronounce it as sit or yeah. So like SIT. This term refers to an extended family of gnomes. So seat, shelfvine, for example. Several seats will group together to make a clan. Okay. Alright. So a family of gnomes is a seat. And then once you have more than one seat, then you can have a clan. Okay. Speaker. Each seat has a speaker who is nominally in charge. Speakers rely on wisdom, persuasion, and renown to push their agendas rather than unquestioning obedience. A Borrow Warden. The Borrow Wardens are the war leaders of the Zwerfneblins and are responsible for the protection of the seat. Oh, that is good also. I actually kind of like the equating snare with badgers. Yeah, that one is good. But this one, all right. I think I will need this in the future. So And then I'm gonna put this to lore instead. A group of seat. Is it seats? Is the plural of that? A group of seats. Alright. Forms a clan. Alright. So we have that there. Thank you. Again, thank you, author, for having that. So we have pronunciation guides. We have sidebars for, you know, the lore and stuff. So this is already good. Can I pronounce half of what's here? Probably not. But for those that can, this is a good adventure so far, because it has all the tools that we need to be able to run this without any problems. So far. Don't forget the pronunciation in your notes for new words. You haven't already. Oh, right. What else? I guess we're gonna put that. The Slihan Gyosal, that one is gonna take a while. In Google, it says sit. Like the group of badgers. Seed pronunciation. I think it is. I think it is seat. Oh wait. I'm trying to find more pronunciation stuff here. I think it is SEAT. Yeah, long E. Yeah, it is. It is not. There's one search result that says SIT, but when I looking more for different results, I think it's more of seat. Yeah. Okay. All right, so let's dig into this. It's raining right now here, so hopefully we don't lose power. You know, here in the Philippines, just it's like yeah. I think one of my friends told me before, like not the Philippines, but in Metro Manila where I used to live. Oh, yeah. And they compare it like the city is like instant noodles, just a bit of rain, a bit of water, and then everything is just stops. Everything everything just changes. You know. So hopefully we're outside of Metro Manila, but it's raining. So if I lose power, that's it for the stream, everyone. Yeah. Let's go. So let's go through this as fast as we could. Part 1, Care Caladir, or this is only 30 minutes. This is the call to action thing. So the adventure opens at the Moonshavian capital city of Care Caladir, where the adventurers are invited to the High King's castle for an audience. Wow, this is a big deal. The fact that you are invited by the High King, that is a big deal. This adventure assumes that the characters have spent some time together and are of some renown, having accomplished various adventures and gained some fame or notoriety. Okay? For the map of the Northern Aileron, we'll I think we look at that already, so we're not gonna go to that appendix, but let's scroll up a bit. We're basically getting summoned here. Caladir, at the kingdom of the kingdom of Caladir, okay, in the Isle of Alaron. Right, that's where we are at the moment, or that's where we got summoned. And let's see, what else do we have here? Regardless of where the party is, the Inn of the Dancing Dolphin. I think we wrote that in a previous adventure before. They receive an invitation from a royal courier. Let the characters conduct any business they see fit to prepare, purchasing items, speaking spellcasting services, and then move on to the audience below. Architecture. Oh, I actually want to know about this. The castle is made out of white granite that is often confused with alabaster. Okay? It is finely made and has withstood the marches of time. Sturdy stone and wood construction make up the castle throughout. This is good information. Granite. Okay, yes. Yeah. Thank you for that. The morning is brisk and slightly foggy. Daylight cuts through the light fog, and then salt air aromas from various merchant stalls throughout the city, the crash of waves against the port, and then clopping hooves, rumbling wagon wheels. It's a busy place. There's a lot happening here in Caladir. Halls of the High King. The castle of Caladir is the tallest, most impressive structure in Caladir town. I wonder if this is the tallest structure in the whole Moonshae Isles. Its creamy white walls have stood for centuries as the home of the ruling family, House Kendrick. Tower guards is resplendent, heavy armor, pole arms in hand, guide you through ascending passageways and stairwells until you reach the audience chamber. As you approach, you are greeted by the sound of martial combat ringing through the halls. The hallway opens to a large regal room. Travertine. Actually, you know what? I don't think that's how you say it. Oh, it is. Okay, what is travertine? White or light colored rock. Okay. Travertine columns support a high vaulted roof, and sunlight filters through stained glass windows above. No one else get absolutely bored by a solid white castle. Why not brightly painted turrets with flowing banners draped from walls? I don't know. Maybe they'll like it. Maybe it is rare to have like a creamy white colored castle, you know. A a crowned figure, unmistakably High King Darid of House Kendrick, sits on the far side of the audience chamber on a copper throne traced with gold and platinum inlay. I like the details of the throne. Or I like that they mention the details of the throne. Alright. In the middle of a crowd of royally dressed spectators, a charcoal-skinned gnome in gray and black mottled garb duels against a royal guard of rank, their bodies dancing with color as light from the stained glass windows bait their sparring figures. With startlingly swift series of jumping strikes, the gnome fiercely slams her sword's pommels against the guard's helmeted head, sending the guard clattering to his knees. Raising a shaky hand, the guard concedes. There's a round of applause as the gnome extends her hand to the guard, helping him rise to his feet. The combatants salute one another, then salute the High King, bringing the match to an end. At the duel's conclusion, High King Barrett spots you by the entrance and ushers you over. Welcome, welcome, adventurers, he says. You note a wariness in his voice. I guess that's not how I should have read it. And a haggardness to his countenance. The king looks as if he has much on his mind these days. So it should be welcome, welcome, adventurers. Okay. More like that. High King Darid presents the adventurers to his court and shares the following information over a catered lunch of meats and vegetables. He invites the characters to his table where they can discuss matters at hand. The fact that we can, be at the same table with the High King and what's this? Eat at the same table where he is sitting. That is a big deal, and we're only level 1 to 4 adventurers. That's awesome. Anyway, 3 days ago, the leaders of 2 deep known Zwerfneblins seats and their retinue arrive at the capital. The gnomes hail from High Bastion, a city situated 25 miles north of Caer Caladir in the Fairheight range of Mount. Actually, can we just check the map again? See if there's High Bastion here somewhere. I don't want to get bamboozled again and then learn that the location is actually in the map. Alright. Fairheight Range, Blackstone, High Rock, White Rock. I don't think it's Hugh Lock, the Cairn of Kimrick, Fairheight River, Les Lock. Okay, Les Bunt Mountains. Alright, I don't think it's here. Your map doesn't have it either. Okay, so it's not here. It says 20 miles from Caer Caladir. So it will probably, be closer to Blackstone than High Rock. Okay. Let's see. Actually, the access to the Dwarven Home Tunnel, when we read the Moon4-3 trilogy, it was at Blackstone, right? So in Moon4-3 2, after we save Winnow's brother Shale, we were able to find like a set of tunnels that leads to the Dwarven Home tunnels. Right. And that was in Blackstone. So if the deep gnomes fled using the deep home or Dwarven Home tunnels and then found High Bastion, it will probably be near that area too. I'm thinking it'll be between Blackstone and Fairheight then. Yep, that's a safe assumption. But let's see if they will tell us exactly where it's located. Okay. I think this is the best info we got. So the gnomes hail from High Bastion, situated 25 miles north of Caer Caladir in the Fairheight range of mountains. From High Bastion, we have 2 leaders. Barrow Warden, Alanag Shelfvine, the duelist who defeated the Tower Guard, and Speaker Ciaran JT, or Kiaran. I think it will be Kiaran, right? Kiaran JT, yeah. Yeah. So we have Alana Shelfvine, and Kiaran JT. govern the communities of deemed known refugees from the where is that? From the Slihan Gyusel. Alright. Vane, not Vine. Vane. Where am I reading? Alright. Alana Shelfvine. Shelfvane. I keep saying Vine. Shelfvane. Yes. Alana Shelfvane and Kiaran JT. Okay. I think, oh man, this is not, if you're listening to this and you're not here for the lore, I don't think you're gonna enjoy this stream session because I'm gonna be mispronouncing words left and right here. But anyway, we have here, so is a borrow warden. Okay. Of the shelf vein seat, and then you have the other one, Ciaran or Kiaran. We'll go with Kiaran JT, speaker of the JT seat. Okay. Oh man, I'm tired already. Alana and Kiaran have come to Caladir to forge an alliance with House Kendrick. They hope to gain help dealing with subterranean disturbances beneath High Bastion. The Deep Gnomes' few fighting forces are stretched thin, dealing with trolls that have descended from elsewhere in the mountains. They would ask dwarves for aid, but the Rook-Oats and Rustfar clans are dealing with orcish invasions from the forest to the north of the Fair Height Range. Darid would gladly send his own forces, were they not busy dealing with monsters in the Durnal Forest and with pirates along shores of Whitefish Bay. When Darid heard that the adventurers were traveling to Caer Caladir, the solution came to him. If pressed on his current state of mind, Darid mentions he has not been sleeping well, and the current tension at the court has been weighing on him. The sleepless nights. I guess I'm not showing here. There we go. The sleepless nights will pass, and the adventurers aiding in this mission will do much to assuage his unease. Oh man, the vocabulary of this author is just on another level. Howdy, hello, Mischief the Goblin. Welcome to Lore Academia, and to this particular stream will I mispronounce more than half of the things written here in this adventure. So, if you can survive that, you are welcome to stay. Role-playing High King Darid. Alright. Before we go there, before we read that part, so in Moon-3 trilogy, Moon-3-1 to Moon-3-3, you have the xenophobic dwarves, right? They don't want outsiders to get involved with their problems. But they were also stretched thin because there was a three-way alliance going on with their enemies, right? So they're fighting a lot, not just the orcs, they're fighting a shadow dragon, and then they're fighting the Fomorians of Queen Koname. And that's why they tried to ask King Darid. They actually it was written there. They tried to ask the High King for help, but they got us, the adventurers, instead. Here, I thought I was expecting, no, well, not expecting. It would have been bad if here you see High King Darid actually help the gnomes and send army to help the gnomes, but not the dwarves. But here we see that High King Darid cannot, doesn't have the resources, doesn't have any soldiers to send, even to the gnomes. And again, just using us adventurers to help these two seats. So yeah. All right, so let's go and continue. How are we? We're good. We're great. It's raining here right now, which means no dogs barking, no motorcycles passing by in front of my office. It's just the sound of rain. It feels like you're listening to lo-fi with a dude that's having a hard time mispronouncing a lot of the words here. So there. All right, let's continue. I love how a handful of adventurers is as useful as sending a battalion of troops, right? Role-playing High King Dared Kendrick. High King Dared comes from a long line of rulers from House Kendrick. He's a benevolent monarch who is active in the affairs of the common folk. That said, he has been having difficulty dealing with the stresses of rulership lately. Under his rule, though not specifically of his fault, House Kendrick's holdings are the smallest and the dangers to Alaron are the greatest they've ever been. Their sleep has been plagued by nightmares that have been making his sleep uneasy. He has been keeping this from his court, but the weariness is beginning to show on his face. The king looks haggard and tired. He believes that this is simply the tensions of sovereignty weighing on him, and that the sleepless nights will pass. But is there something more more troubling than the king? True, Caer Caladir has lost some of her luster, but I shall bring the shine back to her towers, her rooftops, and her people. Sovereignty. Yes, sovereignty. There you go. Man, I just lost the confidence of pronouncing any other word here in this adventure. But we will persevere. We will continue. We will be able to overcome this. Dual commandments. The deep gnomes are grateful for the adventurers' help. However, Alana wishes to test their might. This is good. All right. I like this. Barroom Warden Alana Shelfvein looks each of you over. I hardly broke a sweat with that last fight, she starts. Before catching herself, she turns to the tower guard she defeated earlier, raises her hand in salute, and says, meaning no disrespect, good sir. Turning her attention back to you, she continues, would one of you kindly indulge me in honorable combat? I'd like to test the mettle of the High King's representatives. She sweeps her blade in a showy salute. This is good, right? We're level 1 to 4. We're the replacement for the High King's army or soldiers. So, are we actually enough to deal with the problems of the deep gnomes? We'll see. All right. If the party declines a duel, Alana doesn't hold it against them. Choosing one's battles is a wise tactic in its own right. However, the rest of the court is saddened to not see the martial prowess of the adventurers. Dared looks on without comment but obviously taking it in. If one of the characters accept the offer, a hush falls over the crowd as they clear the center of the room. Alana is a female Svirfneblin bandit captain. She and the dueling adventurers square off as High King Dared announces the rules of the duel. So what are the rules? 4 bullet points here. Combat is to be honorable. The duelists should fight to the best of their abilities without underhanded tactics. Neither combatant can receive outside assistance, either before or during combat. Any outside assistance received counts as a loss by default for the receiving duelist. A court mage monitors the duel for outside spell activity. Blows are to be non-lethal and should leave no lasting injuries. Cuts and bruises are acceptable, however. A blow deemed lethal counts as a loss by default to the offending duelist. A court cleric is on hand to cast Revivify if necessary. Yep, even if you kill Alana, all good. Spells that impose mind control or of any kind are prohibited, as are spells that forcibly remove a duelist from the arena. A duelist may otherwise use spells in combat providing those spells do not violate any of the other rules or harm others outside the duel. This is actually a good set of rules. And in future adventures, especially here in the Moonshaes, if I need to put a duel encounter, I can just copy paste and modify this section. So the fact that it's already here is good for us. Okay. Magic missile, yep. Definitely can use that. A Caladir style. Yeah, actually you could call it like that. Let's perform a Caladir style duel, you know? Or we'll have a duel encounter using Kendrick rules. House Kendrick rules. And this will be it, right? We use this. Alright. So I like this part. I like that this has been written here in detail, which makes the future writer's job easier. So thank you again, Jay, for that. Oops, what happened? Okay. Where is that? Should be here. Okay. Actually, we'll put it in notes. Can be found here. Can name it, you know, Caladir style or a duel using House Kendrick rules. We'll add it on the notes because this is more in the design stuff, right? Or adventure design, rather. The dueling area is a 15-foot radius circle surrounded by spectators. Spellcasters must use area of effect spells judiciously or risk harming the surrounding spectators. Doing so causes the combatant to lose the fight. Alana is honorable to the core and follows the rules set forth without waver. She's a formidable opponent, and the duel should prove difficult. If the dueling adventurer wins, High King's Court and the Svirf Neblin delegates are delighted. If the dueling adventurer loses, Alana behaves as a good-natured as she did upon defeating Tower Guardsmen, offering her hand to steady her opponent. How do we roleplay Alana? Alana is of noble blood and bearing, and generally level-headed and calm. She was born into her position of leadership and is aware of it, always striving to ensure that she is worthy of her station. Alana is a capable and just leader. She has a head of long gray hair that she gathers up into two large buns, soft features, and a well-built physique honed by extensive combat training. Is this like Chun-Li style buns? However, her sensible surface hides a wanderlust that she keeps in check. Alana is dedicated to her people, but also longs for the adventuring life. Thus, She can be prone to jumping into situations that fuel that desire, venturing out and taking on challenges when the opportunity arises. Her first duty is to her people, and she generally puts her friendship first, or her leadership first, but her desire for action has been getting the best of her as of late. What's her code? Are you sure you're one of the stock that can weather the Fahrenheit range? Well, I guess we'll see. Okay. Win or lose, we get to part 2. Okay. Part 2, High Bastion. So we're going here. 15 minutes? This is only for 15 minutes? Okay, so there's a lot of sidebar, so I guess we're not gonna use that. In this part, the adventurers journey to High Bastion and receive the quest to explore. Oh man, I need the pronunciation again. To explore Slihan Gyusal. Slihan Gyusal. I think we need to say it faster. Slihan Gyusal. Alright. And where are we? Below High Bastion. Alright. Okay. The High Bastion experiment. High Bastion as a city is a failed experiment. Several hundred years ago, successful dwarven traders from the Rook-Oat clan decided that trade with the outside world couldn't be improved by building an above-ground settlement. Oh, so this is not, not underground. This is actually, okay. The dwarven efficiency they set to this task, and using considerable investment of money and labor, High Bastion was built. The trade houses commissioned lavish abodes for themselves, set up storage facilities, housing for laborers, inns for visiting merchants, the works. Despite the resources poured into High Bastion, the traders discovered something they could not get used to: the open sky. As more and more dwarves abandoned High Bastion to return to their original underground home, the trade went with them. And after a mere 140 years, High Bastion was a ghost town. Screw that. I don't want to see the sky. The sun is here. Oh no, it's raining. And it keeps on raining in the Moonshae Isles. Screw that. Underground, there's no rain. Yeah. Only recently has the town been repurposed, with dark fae forces expanding into every corner of Slihan Gyusal's tunnels. The Svir Neblin settlements connected to it were in danger of being discovered and consequently demolished. Before this could happen, the ladies Shelfvane, and JT decided to take their people out of the tunnels. Taking possessions of abandoned High Bastion, they occupied it with their people and set up defenses. In this time since, more refugees from the underground have joined them. While the deep gnomes, like the dwarves before them, prefer a rocky sky, they are making the best of the situation. Yep. Shelter is shelter, that's right. A mountain refuge. The adventurers strike north from the capital city, bound for High Bastion. The characters have the opportunity to prepare and resupply, either the night before or early the next morning before they depart. And we read this to the adventurers. It is shortly after light when you leave Caer Calidir, accompanying the gnome delegates northward. It takes 2 days to journey up the Fahrenheit range to reach High Bastion. At the end of the second day, columns inset with glowing stones illuminate the last quarter mile of a winding mountain road leading towards the city gate. Alright, 2 days for a 25-mile journey. Okay. Speaking Kiaran JT engages the characters to inquire on their past exploits. In turn, she provides background on High Bastion and the current state of the fractured gnome seats located in the tunnels of Slihan Geosel. Yeah. She also inquires if the adventurers have ever come across any noble or wealthy gnomes as she seeks a suitor to help ensure her bloodline and rule. Oh, wow, okay. Have you met the Moonshae Trade League ambassador by chance? I've heard he is a gnome of some exceptional flair and lineage, she may mention in passing. Oh, alright, so we're slowly introducing like different factions or groups here in the Moonshae Isles. Because now we have the Moonshae Trade League ambassador. Remember in Moon 1-1, we have different factions. And here, it's being mentioned again. Role-playing Kiaran JT. Kiaran is cool, calculating, and distant. She deals with the stresses of leadership by emotionally distancing herself, putting her utmost effort into being objective about things. While practical, this can also make her seem aloof. All things considered, however, this outlook has served Kiaran well. She has made good decisions and has led her seat wisely. Kiaran is slight, even for a gnome, with sharp features and a head sporting tufts of smoky white hair that she weaves into intricate braids. Though she tries to keep the stresses of her position at bay, she has found herself longing for companionship recently. Kiaran wants a partner, and this has been influencing her interactions with the people around her. Why not? It's valid. That's valid. And her quote, "Only time will tell what parts High Bastion has to play in the history of Alaron. In the meanwhile, I will do what I can to ensure its safety." And as you approach, High Bastion fills your sights. Sitting between two peaks that tower above the city is alive. Firelight glows through windows, guards patrol the rampart above the city walls, and trading wagons roll through the city gates for the night. As you make your way into the city, Barrow Warden Shelvane, Speaker JT, and the others in the retinue greet the gnomes you pass with familiarity. They seem well received by their people, and the small population's relief at seeing armed adventurers in their companies is palpable. Alright. And the terrain, Burrow. Okay, what was I reading? Oh, the Burrow. Or I get it. The Burrow Warden. Yeah, I was probably saying Burrow there. Yeah, the Burrow. It's hard, man. This is hard. The Burrow Warden. All right. This stream is gonna take a while. I can tell you that. The city rises and falls with the mountains around it. Streets are generally paved, though some paths remain unpaved and rough. Most structures were made for gnomes and are appropriately sized. Alright. Good thing chat is here. Imagine if chat is not here. Man, we'll be making mistakes left and right. We've been making mistakes left and right, but at least we know our mistakes. Moonlight shines down. Alright, because we have an open sky in High Bastion. Alright. Smells and sounds, smokes from fires, boots against pavement. Okay, looks like a busy city as well. Clinks of steins. Nice. Okay. Seat JT. The adventurers are taken to Seat JT, one of the largest mansions in the city. Kiaran provides the adventurers with food and lodging. After they've had a chance to refresh themselves, she invites the party into her council room, gathering them around a large stone table to brief them on the details of their mission. All right, so now, after in part 2, we finally learn what we need to do. Below the city of High Bastion lies Slihan Gyosal, a vast network of ancient tunnels and caverns stretching all the way from Alaron to Gwyneth. Far to the south, once the connection between the dwarven civilizations on both isles, Slian Gyosal was abandoned when hostile orcs and goblins from Gwyneth sent the dwarven clans fleeing north. With, oh man, you really want to say, how many times do you want me to say it? The Slian Gyosal, abandoned by the dwarves, the Dark Fae forces took control, threatening all other occupants of the tunnels. Seat Shelfvein was one of the many families that were ousted from the Slian Gyosal. Okay. Alana and Kiaran led their people up an ancient staircase and out into an abandoned settlement above. They reclaimed the old buildings and settled into the city of High. There's a lot of repetition here in terms of information, right? It's good to make the DM, remember that information if like you keep repeating it in the adventure. But you do too much of that, your dungeon master might get annoyed. You already told us that here at the adventure background, and then here when how we should run the adventure, and then at part 1, and then here in part 2 you're saying the same thing again, right? So just be careful in that if you're writing adventures. Some deep gnome seats still live in the northernmost tunnels of Slihan Gyosal, deep beneath the mountains under High Bastion. Word has risen to the surface that these seats have been attacked by creatures pushing out from somewhere within the ancient tunnels. The creatures communicate wordlessly. Gnomes that have survived encounters with them report having thoughts penetrate into their minds, drawing conclusion that the creatures were able to communicate telepathically. Oh boy, that's dangerous. The creatures are described as otherworldly in nature. Oh, I think we're gonna fight some aberrations here. Alana concludes that the collapsed tunnel leading southward must have been reopened. Who or what may have reopened those tunnels remains a mystery. Kiaran asked the party to delve into Slihan Gyosal to accomplish 2 things. This is good. How it was written, I like it. It's clearly written here, like, what are the goals? Investigate the attacks. Kiaran is concerned that these threats are mere foreshadowing of worse threats to come. This possibly imperils High Bastion, but it more greatly threatens the gnomes still below. Which leads to the second reason Kiaran wants the adventurers to journey into Slihan Gyosal. Parley with the gnomes below. The seats will still active in Slihan Gyosal below have generally been isolationist, coming to the surface only in dire need. Their allegiances to High Bastion have historically been shaky at best. Kiaran hopes that new, more persuasive faces may be able to convince these clans to fully ally with High Bastion. Kiaran gives the party a rough map of Slihan Gyosal to help them in their quests. Give them Appendix 4. Oh, we're gonna look at that. After sharing the information above, Kiaran bids the adventurers goodnight, saying that they will be led down into the depths of Slihan Gyosal at first light tomorrow. If the adventurers didn't restock at Caladir, they may do so here. Alana makes the armory available for weapons restocking of short swords, maces, javelins, daggers, and light crossbows with bolts, and may provide armor up to chainmail in value, but it comes in small sizes only. These are loans to be returned after their mission. And then we can go to part 3. Sinopov Zvirf Neblin probably not going to find other races' faces not so persuasive to begin with, so this is gonna be tough. I wonder if it's a common trope for if people live underground. Like, did they choose to live underground because they're xenophobic, right? Or they just hate people? Is that a decision? That's why. Is it their characteristic? That's why they decided to live underground? Or was there something, an event or something that happened that forced them to go underground, and that event made them xenophobic, right? No, they didn't choose to live underground. It's just a common trope that all the cultures underground oftentimes are very inhospitable, and yeah, because that one I'm not sure. Yeah, I've seen some movies that are like that or shows that are like that. Even in anime, you have that, but I'm not entirely sure if that's a common trope there. So I guess yeah, they have it. And even dwarves were generally felt to be underground, just not deep, are kind of yeah. Because here, that's how they are portrayed, right? At least with the Moonshae dwarves. Uh, and then the gnomes, since they live since the deep gnomes live underground, they tend to act the same. So yeah, was it a choice because they hate people, or they hate outsiders, or something happened and that made them hate the people above ground? All right. So there. Anyway, let's look at Appendix 4. So we have a map of Appendix 4. Where's Appendix 4? There you go. This is big. It's a whole map. This is Slihan Giosel. This is the map of Slihan Giosel. So there are like locations here. Gladtucker, Stalagborn, Dark Mine. Wow, Hammerwell. The names are good too. Crystalberry. Wow, I love the names. Wordsayer, Pickpire, Rockrite. I love it. Yeah, the Glad Tacker. Where is that? Where is that? Oh, this one at the top. Yeah, Glad Tacker. Yeah, and then the first one. All right. Stalagborn. I liked Stalagborn. Okay. I love this map. I love it. Whoever made this is good. Actually, let's see. Let's see who made this map. Was it Jay or a different person? Cartography. Yeah, I think it is. It's either Jay or Sydney who made it. Looks good. Part 3. This is where we're going, to the map that we just showed everyone. 90 minutes. All right, so this one we're going to spend more than an hour. In this part, we delve into the ancient tunnels below High Bastion. This is a sandbox portion of the adventure with the party able to wander as they see fit. Hopefully, we can learn a lot about the tunnels of Dwarven Home, because in 3-2 we're supposed to go. We went there, but we didn't really learn a lot. It didn't feel like we were in Dwarven Home. It just feels like we went to a room, fought a bunch of monsters, and then another room, fought more monsters, but and then you have the doors with the traps, but there's no really like it doesn't feel like it is the Dwarven Home tunnels. There's not a lot of description there. It's just like one open area after the other. Let's see here if this is different. In this part, the adventurer delve into the ancient tunnels below High Bastion. Sandbags, alright. However, in the 90 minutes allotted to this part, ensure that the party does the following. Meet a few of the gnomish seats who will have minor missions for them. Explore at least one of the ruins and learn that the survivors were captured and taken elsewhere. Encounter the ghosts of Domnall in Area 14. Discover the gate to the unknown. Wow, the title is here. Discover the gate to the unknown. Roll credits. Alright. Slean Giusel has the following features. The tunnels are large and expansive. Most have been kept in their natural state. Though roads and walls have been built into some portions, signs of dwarven civilization dot the tunnels, though most stretches remain unimproved. Okay. The light and sounds and smell, I don't think there's anything new here. Okay. Okay. Burrow, Warden, Shelfvein, and Speaker JT lead you to a square at the far side of High Bastion. A huge stone plate, easily 25 feet by 25 feet in size, dominates the square. Mounted at the plate are several lengths of chain and a dozen large heavy iron bells. Two squads of Svirfneblin guards, numbering 4 dozen in all, grab hold of the chains and laboriously hoist the plate aside, revealing a wide stairway that descends into the earth of the Fairheight Mountains. As the plate slides, the bell tolls loudly, echoing throughout High Bastion and letting the populace know that the grand stairway is being opened. Speaker JT hands you a map and says this may be outdated, but it should still help guide you to the various noble seats below. Okay. I hope it proves useful. And as the final gesture, the gnomes perform a number of ritual salutes, of good fortune to each of you before you descend. The stairway leads you down below High Bastion. After what seems like an eternity of descending, the staircase opened to Slehan Giusel's expansive tunnel system. Vast tunnels, easily 50 feet wide all around. That's wide. Branch off in 4 directions. The stairs ending in the middle of the intersection. The sound of metalwork echoes through the tunnels from the north and west. The tunnels to the south and east are quiet. That is a long box text. I have some M&Ms. I'm thinking if I should eat or not. All right. Use this map of Slehan Giusel from Appendix 3B. Oh, That's a different one. The northernmost tip of the caves as you run this part of the adventure. The numbered section below correspond to the numbered areas on the map. Okay. You know, I just want to say, this right here, this is super appreciated because I know it is obvious the numbers on this part of the adventure corresponds to the numbers on the map mentioned here. But sometimes, as a DM, when you're preparing, when there's a lot of things going on, or you're not focused at all, or you only have 30 minutes left before your game starts, if you can easily miss this part, like what it means, like the numbers, where does it correspond to, and then you have to go through that 5 minutes of trying to figure out which is which, uh and then the realization that, oh, it corresponds to this map. So having it here, I know it's like common sense, it's super basic, but writing that there, oh man, just make sure, like, as a DM, you have no excuse. I have put everything here, even the stuff that should be common sense, I have put it there. So if something went horribly wrong, uh this adventure has provided you with as many instructions, clear, concise instruction as possible. Man. So, good job. What? Yeah, that's basically it. What I'm trying to say is, good job, author, for having that there. Uh, if you assume, it just makes an yeah. But here in Lore Academia, I don't know, for some reason I assume a lot of things. So that's why I make an ass of myself a lot of times. Chat keeps telling me to read the next part before, theory crafting and all, doing all that stuff, because usually the answer is just in the next paragraph or two. Anyway, going back. The Svirfneblin seats are described in the. Okay, we read that already. Some seats need to may be found in other locations within Slihan Giesel. Once they are acquired and delivered to the respective seats, they give the adventurers a token and perhaps some other reward. And then once the adventurers have visited the gnome seats, they find a gate to the unknown nearby, wherever they happen to be. So let's look at, what's the map? Appendix 3B. This is it. Oh, this is big. Okay. It's the same. It's the same as the one in Appendix 4. Yeah, because I see. Alright. Yeah, the similarity. Yeah, I think it's the same. Yep, it's the same. Oh, this is gonna be long. 14, I see 14 there. 14 areas? Okay, we're gonna be reading a lot. What the deep gnomes know? The gnomes are isolated due to the wandering creatures in the tunnels. The creatures are otherworldly and dangerous. They seem telepathic in communication. Claws, teeth, black ichor, medium size. The names of the other gnomes, seats, and their specialties, okay? And it has been days since there were communications between the gnome seats, and a bunker mentality has been adopted as raids but the creatures are fended off. Creatures come at odd intervals, and there's no pattern that can be discerned from their attacks. Okay. Role playing the Svirf Neblin leaders. Little is given about the Svirf Neblin seat beyond their trades and general condition. Feel free to add whatever personality you like to the Svirf Neblin leaders. Perhaps some are friendlier to the characters than the others. Perhaps others warm up to the characters greatly when they accomplish a task. Okay. Seat Stalagborn. Oh! The different areas in the Slihan Giesel are seats. So their families are named after the location, or they name the location after their family name. Okay. The Stalagborn noble seat is a cheerless structure of white marble. You are greeted by the matron of the seat, Speaker Siobhan Stalagborn, a priestess of Segojan Earth Color. Siobhan, I learned the pronunciation of that name because I have a player whose character's name is Siobhan. Yeah. And at the beginning, I was like having a hard time like trying to figure out how you pronounce it. Is it Siobhan? Shoban? But yeah, figure it out. Yeah. Siobhan is the English spelling, if I remember. Really? There's a name. I haven't met a person named Siobhan or seen. Is that a common American name? Do I have a high school schoolmate named Siobhan? It's pretty uncommon. Okay. I was like thinking, is there like Siobhan name? All right. Going back. The Stalagborn gnomes are warm but cautious. The seat pledges allegiance to High Bastion if the adventurers accomplish a task, which is acquire a gem stolen by Darklings. Seat Stalagborn needs a gem to mount onto their altar to Sego. Let's look at how you pronounce this. Segojan Earth Caller is the gnome god of earth and nature who's primarily concerned as creatures. So it's a gnome god. Okay. Segojan Earth Caller. Okay. No, but there's a wiki because that's the name of a deity, apparently. Yeah. And there's a pronunciation guide there for. Well, it's probably written by some person, but. Oh yeah, in a wiki, in Greyhawk wiki, it's the pronunciation guide is there. Okay. Yeah, trust the wiki pronounce. Okay. If the adventurers return the stolen gems, Speaker, where are we? Speaker Stalagborn gives them a token of Seat Stalagborn, which pledges the seat's allegiance to High Bastion. Okay, so we're gonna deal with. There are 14 areas, right? So we're gonna go with go with 14 seats. Okay, let's go. Seat. Glamoring gnomes are suspicious of you at first, but open their gates to you after some scrutiny. The opening gates reveal a main hall that more resembles a mercantile exchange than a house. Angus Glamoring introduces himself as chief merchant and formally greets you. Okay. Got more NPCs. Chief merchant of Seat Glamoring. Okay. Seat Glamoring is the main trading outfit in Slihan Gyosal North and is the seat most often contact with High Bastion. If we possess the trading charter, which can be acquired from Seat Dark Mine in Area 4, they may purchase any weapon, armor, or item found in the player's handbook here. Seat Glamoring will normally align with High Bastion, but under the dangerous circumstances befalling them now, they need the adventurers to accomplish a task before they pledge their allegiance. Okay. Acquire Pickaxe Head for Seat Dark Mine. The Dark Mine... Alright, are we in a different... Why are we talking about Dark Mine? Is this a typo? Acquire pickaxe from... Oh, okay. Got it. I see it now. Okay. Acquire pickaxe sets from Seat Dark Mine. The Dark Mine gnomes craft the sturdiest mining tools in Slihan Gyosal. Seat Glamoring needs 24 pickaxe heads to replenish their house's tool supply. If the adventurers agree to take on this task, Angus gives them a writ of credit. If the writ is given to Seat Dark Mine, they give the required pickaxe heads to the adventurers for delivery. Okay. What rewards do we get? We get the token of Seat Glamoring and also a potion of greater healing. Okay. Area 3, Fathomless Pit. A large yawning pit more than 200 feet wide, 100 feet across, and undeterminable depth fills the end of this cavern. You may use this area for one of the monster encounters on the location of Gate of the Unknown. Okay? Noted. Seat Dark Mine. Seat Dark Mine is stunningly decorated. The noble house is covered with intricate carvings and is exquisitely painted. Lord Shana Darkmine proudly welcomes you into her home. Okay. So we have that as well. Seat Darkmine is a family of the finest and most disciplined crafters. Their artisans would like to learn more about the monsters roaming the area, but not equipped to do so. Okay? To this end, Lord Darkmine asks the adventurers to accomplish the task below. Speaker Darkmine has arcanist learnings and hopes the study of the creatures can help secure his family's secret. Okay? Acquire Darkling or other monster remains. Speaker Darkmine asks the adventurers to acquire a Darkling carcass and bring it to Seat Darkmine. Alternatively, if the adventurers encounter any exotic monsters in the tunnels beyond, they will also return with those remains. And with the Seat Darkmine, we gain a token and a trading charter. Okay. Area 5. Oh, for some reason, this rain is making me feel sleepy. Wait, I need to wake up. Alright. Get some M&M's. The sound of rain And also like the weather, it's like it's just cold enough but not too cold, and makes you feel sleepy. And when I say cold, that's like Philippine standard cold, all right? Not that's like tropical island cold. So when it rains here, when there's no sun, it's already we consider it cold. Okay. Uh, Area 5, ruins of Seat Grand Tacker. Okay. Seat Grand Tacker was once ornately decorated, befitting its name. However, it is now abandoned and sacked from what seems to have been a surprise attack. Gold filigree traces delicate patterns into the noble seat's wall, making the manor shimmer in the torchlight that illuminates it, a testament to its past glory. The interior is dark and quiet. Or per ancient agreements, Seat Grand Tacker once regulated trade within the tunnels of Slihan Giesel, ensuring fairness and mediating the occasional disputes. Maps and books determining the seat's business dealings still remain on the grand tables and work desks. Searching the ruined grounds, the characters may come across a monster corpse, a rust monster defeated with darts. This can be turned into Seat Dark Mind to fulfill their request. Okay. Several gnome bodies lay scattered inside amid signs of a struggle. The gnomes all show marks of violence and dagger strikes on their backs and seem to have been taken by surprise. Aww. They have the coolest name too. Or one of the coolest names. They're gone. Area 6, Finger Tunnels. A series of narrow tunnels penetrate the rock in this area. Multiple offshoots extend out and climb up and down from the main tunnel. You may use this area for one of the monster encounters, okay? Otherwise, there's nothing there. Area 7, North Tower. Two great towers stand guard in these depths, overlooking each side of a gigantic chasm that splits Slihan Giesel North into two sections. This northern tower is run by gnomes from all of the seats in Slihan Giesel North. Each seat sends a complement of its forces to the tower, taking on shifts lasting several months. Wow. Since representatives from each seat can be found here, the adventurers may interact with the gnomes within to learn more about the seat they have yet to visit. The gnomes stationed here cannot give details about various seats' tasks, but they can give adventurers directions and inform them of each seat's trade. Otherwise, there's nothing noteworthy here. Okay? Ruins of Seat Hammerwell. Tattered remains of colorful banners would have once welcomed travelers to Seat Hammerwell. Carvings in the shape of dice and panels painted to look like face cards adorn the building's exterior. The slaughtered remains of gnomish townsfolk lay outside the gambling house. Seat Hammerwell was a gambling house where the various gnome families relax. In a recent ambush by creatures of the Ancili Court, patrons were murdered and the rest of the workers scattered. Examining the bodies of the fallen reveals short blade wounds on their backs and cutthroats. The fallen have been dead for a few days. The monsters stalking the caverns have been keeping travelers away, so the murderers have been undiscovered until now. A successful survival check reveals prints from several pairs of small boots moving from within and back into the shadow crevices in the rock walls leading to the gambling hall. These are tracks of the Darkling assassins. Oh, we're gonna have some Darkling assassins too. Deep scratch marks on the floor and splashes of blood indicate a struggle near one of the overturned card tables. Drag marks indicate that at least one of the gnomes put up a struggle and was taken elsewhere forcibly. Okay. Area 9. Ruins of Seat Pickfire. The seat of Pickfire is an austere building that stretches from the cavern floor all the way up to the ceiling. The building is almost like a ziggurat appearance, giving it a look of weightiness rather. The stout double doors have been broken apart, and signs of rust coat and metal hinges and door locks. And yeah, the interesting that it says Unseelie Court and not Feydark. I think here they say that I'm not sure. This is me assuming again, which is not good. I think the Feydark are part of the Unseelie Fae, and that's why they kind of interchange these Feydark creatures and Unseelie Court. Like, not all Unseelie Court Fae are Feydark, but all Feydark counts as Unseelie Fae. You know what I mean? At least from the adventures that I've been reading. So I might be wrong. We'll see. But yeah. Where were we? Ruins of Seat Pickfire. Pickfire, not Pickfire. Pickfire. The seat of Pickfire. Okay, we read that already. Seat Pickfire was the richest family in Slihan Gyosal North, due to the family's natural inclination towards shrewd business, social and political dealings. Ledger books left strewn about the main halls detailed their history. Empty chests and small bootprints tracked through the blood of the fallen is evident to even the most untrained eye. The home has been looted. Examining the murdered gnomes revealed they died approximately a day. Oh wow, this is super recent. Despite its monetary wealth, the seat simply didn't have enough manpower to form an adequate defense. The bodies of several gnome merchants in the bloody remains of fine robes are found here. Examination reveals that the stab wounds in their backs and their cutthroats are similar to the wounds of other victims. The characters also find a monster corpse, and the remains of slain Grick is found just within the ruined entryway. Clubbed to death with wooden staves found broken by its body, this can be turned into a seat dark mind to fulfill their requests. Okay. See, this is where I think it's not right. It's like Venn diagram, but Seelie versus Unseelie, Feywild versus Feydark are two different circles with more overlaps. Okay. From how they've been treating the Feydark so far, and how they again interchanging the term Feydark and Unseelie Fey. That's what I'm getting at. Of course, not all Unseelie Fey. Oh, sorry. Yeah, not all Feydark creatures. Now I'm going against what I said a while ago. Because you could change courts in Fey. So, I guess majority of the Feydark. That's not good. Yeah. No, that doesn't make any sense anymore. So I guess, yeah, Unseelie Fey and Feydark should be different. But how they're being used here, it feels like the Feydark and Unseelie Fey are the same. Hopefully, we can read more adventures that will give us the answer to that. All right. Or is it in Google somewhere? Uh, no, no, it's not here. Hmm. Let's see. Unseelie equals dark fairies, which is different from the dark fae that lives in the Feydark of the Feywild. Feel like there's an important lore distinction you should probably carry around in your own adventures because the confusion of it here is frustrating. Yeah. Uh no, but see another term for unseelie fae are like the fairies are dark fairies, which is I think yeah, there's starting to, it's becoming confusing because the terms are all very similar. But the dark fairies of the Ancili Fae are different from the dark fae that lives in the Feydark. That's what I think. We need to do like one stream where we just study all of that. We just study. We need like an in-depth study of the dark fae. Like, who are they? Where they come from? Why did they leave the Feydark? What's in the Feydark? All that stuff, you know. And then versus the Ancili Fae or the Fae in the Ancili court that does this and does that. Okay. Yep, Feydark study incoming soon. Seat Word Sayer, okay, is a plain, unremarkable structure. The large building is built into the wall of rock behind it, concealing the extent of the building's true size. Massive, heavy doors open up to an entry hall lined with bookshelves, stretching out at least 100 feet beyond. The books are strewn from the shelves, and the home seems to have been looted. Several gnomes in sage robes lay dead upon the floor, their bodies rendered and maimed, inkwells overturned on the floor pool fort, mixing with gnomish blood to create a watercolor of death. This is the third seat that seems to have been attacked slash ambush by the enemy. Seat Wordsay maintained the largest collection of books, scrolls, and other documents in Silhan Geosel North. Visitors from the surface came to Seat Wordsayer to pore through the volumes of research of various histories of the Moonshae Isles above the Sihan Geosel below. Academics at heart, the gnomes of Seat Wordsayer were ill-equipped to deal with the monsters outside. Some books remain intact, geographical histories of the region and the Underdark. The bodies here have been cleaved by great claws and teeth. Wow, okay. There are no survivors present. Two brave giant badgers that seem to have put up a fight. They were horrifically mutilated and thrown against the back wall near a toppled bookcase. Aww. Black, sticky ichor is noticeable around the slain gnomes. It is a vicious, dried liquid that smells the mold and brimstone. The ichor is prevalent in small patches around the dead gnome bodies and stick to the floor, and the dried blood and ink making eerie swirls and alien patterns on the floor. The bodies of the gnomes have been here for a day or two, and bloody drag marks leading out to the building signs of a struggle seems to indicate that not all Woodsayers died in the attack. All right, we have survivors. We have Sasuke's on the Uchiha clan type of gnome survivors. South Tower. All right, we went to the North Tower. Now we're at the South Tower. All right. Similar, same description as the North Tower, basically. That's good. All right. Area 12. Man, this is a lot. Ruins of Seat Hallow Song. You know what we forgot to do? We have to go back because we forgot to write the different seats. So we have seat Stalagborn. Worshipper of Sego John, Earthcaller. And then we have Seat Glamoring. Alright, main trading outfit of this place. And then Fathomless Spin. Seat Dark Mine. A family of the finest and most disciplined crafters. Okay. Finger Tunnel, North Tower, Ruins of Seat Hammerwell. Seat Hammerwell. Assassinated. Okay. And then we have Seat Pickfire. Richest family in. Okay. And then Ruins of Seat Wordsayer. Okay. Owns the largest collection of books, scrolls, other documents in High Bastion. All right. Probably should mark that Chauvin are currently in that city and not in an underground like the rest of those seats. Yeah. Actually. NPC factions. Where did I? Should be here. Okay. Area 12. Seat Halosong. Seat Halosong's trade is easily discernible by its buildings. A large amphitheater occupies most of the grounds, lit by torches that burn with color changing magical flame. The house is covered with murals depicting various scenes of actions from popular gnomish plays. You are greeted at the amphitheater, however, with a scene of spectacular carnage. Gnome actors and musicians were attacked mid performance, and the stage is littered with broken bodies, instruments, and stage props. In the macabre, perverse joke, the victims have been arranged to spell out a name, Huden. All right. Uh, wow, these that's very dark. Spelled out Huden here. Seat Hallow Song was home in a long line of thespians that put a lavish and spectacular plays. During a performance of the famed Underdark costume musical Dance of the Joyous Fungi, the troupe was set upon by Huden and his Dark Fae. Not a fan of Deep Gnome art, the fallen druid personally lent a hand in this seat's fall. His unseelie servants left the bodies in their current arrangement for their own amusement and without Huden's knowledge. Besides the claws and bite attacks of the bodies of the fallen, some notes fell afoul the druid's twisted earth magic. Burn marks adorned the faces of the bodies with some, while two mushroom costume gnome performers were been choked to death by brambles and vines, the vegetation penetrating their eyes and mouths, forever silencing their artistic expression. Okay, that's a long description, but this is for Seat Hallow Song. Family of bards. Let's just go with that. So how many dead seats do we have? 4? 5? As a dropping fast. Ruins of Seat Rockright. Enormous columns inscribed with ancient script fills the tunnels around Seat Rockright. The house itself is regal and well kept, its own walls lined with ancient inscriptions as well. The gates are tall and locked. No sound emanates from the property of or science of light. Okay? The gates are locked and may be picked with a thieves' tools or force open with a strength check. With a successful investigation, a search of the ground outside the locked gate reveals a discarded rust sack dropped by some rocks and partially concealed inside our iron rations. A tinderbox of 4 torches and several noted texts on the library history of mining in Slihan Gilsal. A blank notebook is sealed inkpot with 2 pens are also in the pack. Perhaps one of the part of a scribe's kit. A small bloodstain is found on the pack. Poor master scribe Rockwright didn't make it to the or make it out after dithering behind to collect just a few more books he could not leave behind. Strangely, there are no signs of struggles or marks of violence. Inside the scribe's house, the players find a note left behind. signed by the master scribe Rockwright himself. The gnomes lost a few traveling scribes recently and decided to temporarily pack up and head back into the Underdark, but had since Master Rockwright stayed behind to lock up and pack a few important memories. Okay. So they're still good. Anyway, seat. Rockwright. Record keepers. Must be getting tired, bro. You should have heard how you read that last sentence. I don't know, man. Yeah, this thing is different. I don't know if it's the rain or this one is... I'm trying to figure out the right term for this. I'm not tired because I was able to rest. I didn't do much today, but there's something about this adventure. I've been also like, what's this? Yawning. Well, I'm trying to stop myself from yawning too, but it's not the adventure. It's either the weather or something here that's kind of make it feels different. Like reading this feels different like with the other adventures for some reason. Sounds like mental but not physical fit. Probably, yeah, probably. We'll see. All right. Well, we're gonna what's this? How about, I think this is the first time we're gonna do it. Not the first time. It's fire neurons here. We're gonna grind through this adventure because I wanna see how this trilogy ends. That I'm excited. But I think we should take a break. So let's take a 5-minute break or so. And then after that, we'll continue to grind and finish this adventure because I want to know what happens at the end. I feel like I blanked out for a second to like when I read the last sentence. So I think let's go on a 5-minute break. All right. I think we need that. Okay. So, and I can hear the motorcycles. The motorcycles is making me feel alive. All right. Be right back. All right, we're back. Are we awake? I think we're awake. Are we good? Man, all right. It's been a rough day. It's not actually rough, but for some reason, there's something different about today. Uh, I don't think it's this adventure. Yeah, there's a lot of words. There's a lot of things that are hard to pronounce. I guess that's probably one of the factors. The fact that I have to exert extra effort to read these adventures. That is kind of making me tired. It's not the writer's fault though. Uh, I think that's just me. But I don't want to. Again, it's unfair to the adventure, especially after I mentioned that a lot of the parts here are written well. So I did some stretching, was able to get some water. I think we're back. Let's go. Let's continue this. Okay. And where are we? Where did we end? Did we read Seat Rock Ride? Man, I don't even remember. Yeah, we did. We did read that part. Okay. I think we're done with Rock Ride because I have it in our notes as record keepers. Okay. Okay. I don't think we read this part. A blank notebook and sealed ink. Oh, we read that. Okay, I remember that. Uh, okay. Strangely, there are no signs of struggle of marks or marks of violence. Inside the scribe's house, the players find a note left behind, signed by the master scribe. The players find. Oh, what? Uh, all right, it's me. Master scribe Rockwright himself. The gnomes lost a few traveling scribes recently and decided to temporarily pack up and head back into the Underdark. Oh, so they went back. Wait. The head scribe, Master Rockwright, stayed behind to lock up and pack a few important histories. So, I'm trying to process it in my brain. I know it's difficult. All right. Uh, I think they're telling us that the tunnels of Dwarvenholm, aka man, I need a pronunciation guide. AKA Slihan Giosel is not the Underdark. It's no, because here they said they head back to the Underdark. So that means if they're here in Slihan Giosel, that means they're not yet in the Underdark, right? Slihan Giosel is a city based on that map. Yeah. Okay. Which is in the Dwarvenholm tunnels. All right. Actually, we need to correct that because where is our places? Because we put here that Slihan Giosel is another term for tunnels of Dwarvenholm. It's not. It's a city in Dwarvenholm tunnels. Okay. Yeah, but it's not yet in the Underdark, right? So the Slihan Gyosal, if I'm reading this right, which again my brain is kind of not functioning 100% right now. The Slihan Gyosal is a city, but it's in the Dwarven Home tunnels, right? And based in from this phrase, this part here, it looks like the tunnels of Dwarven Home is not yet in the Underdark. It's a tunnel, sure, but it's not yet. It's not in a location in the Underdark. Yeah, it's deep underground. It's basically like another layer. Like, so you have like the crust, like the mantle area. That's where the Underdark would be. Kinda. Like the outer mantle. Instead of lava, you have Underdark. Kind of like that. Or like at the opposite end of the crust, like at the other end of like the inner uh layer of the crust, that's where you'll have the Underdark. But yeah, it looks like, I think if I'm understanding this right, I hope that that we're thinking this right, or I'm thinking this right. From the looks of it, the tunnels of Dwarven Home are, that's it. Uh Tunnel, but it's not um it's not yet in the Underdark. Mantle is so deep, it's more, yeah, no, I'm probably just, yeah, exaggerating it a bit, but what I'm saying is, you know, it's the Underdark is deeper than what it's supposed to be. Yeah. Because the Underdark is like under the oceans and stuff, so it's supposed to be super super deep. Anyway, that's it. So actually, let's put it here. Tunnels of Dwarven Home is not in the Underdark. It's not in the Underdark. Okay. I'll ask Eric about it. Hopefully, Eric Mengi. Hopefully, you will have answer to that. Or I can ask Twitter. We'll see. Haunting of how do you pronounce this? Domno? Alright. I think we have a pronunciation at the top. 14, page 14. Okay. No, we don't. Okay, never mind. Domno? Yeah. Domno. Domno. I think that one is better. Alright. Domno. Yeah. This large building is run down and in disrepair. It must have once looked regal, but crumbling walls, broken windows, and sheets of vegetation growing over its exterior give the dilapidated mansion a sorry appearance. The air is thick with the smell of rotted fungi. As you inspect the house, its main doors open outward, seemingly of their own accord. A raspy voice penetrates your mind, inviting you inside and promising you no harm. Oh, here we go. Here's the thing that communicates telepathically. The raspy telepathic voice belongs to Domhnall, a dwarf ghost, okay, who dwells here and is the sole remaining member of the forgotten family line. He bears no animosity to anyone and is true to his word, neither wishing nor inflicting harm to the characters. Domhnall's alignment is neutral. Oh, okay, so I guess he's not the enemy. But we have a new NPC. Uh, a dwarf goes in Slihan Gyuso. Okay. A dwarf goes from a forgotten family. Okay. All right. If the adventurers make it this far into Slihan Gyusal, Domnall has a request he would like the adventurers to take on. We have a side quest. He has the following information. He can provide all of the background information of High Bastion as pertains to the dwarven construction and eventual abandonment. Domnall doesn't remember why he still haunts the tunnels, but feels attached to an ancient dwarven shrine found deeper into the tunnels. He believes he was a servant at the shrine, an acolyte of divine dwarven powers in the past. Dark Fae, Dark Fae have invaded the tunnels and are commanded by half-elven druid twisted by some dark nature. They've been killing the deep gnomes systematically and have carried some off deeper into the tunnels as prisoners. A dwarven shrine has been desecrated by the Dark Fae, and an orb of Dark Fae power is being used to open gates for shadows and other dark things to invade the tunnels. It needs to be destroyed. There's a lot of dark stuff here. Reminds me of oh, nice to meet you. Welcome. Save me. My brain is melting. What's this? This bullet point reminds me of what's that Final Fantasy game? There's a new Final Fantasy game that is kind of like an offshoot of Final Fantasy 1, where the guy just keeps saying chaos over and over. It kind of feels like that when I read this bullet point right here. Anyway. Sneerverland, Syrian Diesel, and every tongue twisted imaginable. Oh, man. We're almost there. A dwarven shrine has been desecrated by the Dark Fae. This is the sentence it's a lot of dark stuff. Domnall thinks he may finally rest if they can reconsecrate the shrine. An alabaster plate depicting a great dwarven hero astride his boar mount must be placed back on the shrine. That is actually cool. A dwarf riding a boar mount. That is cool. All right. Does he have a name? Does the dwarven hero have a name? After the orb is dealt with, this will consecrate the shrine with sacred energy and cleanse the shadow influences. Characters may take short rest here. However, the ghost warns that machinations are in motion and time is against the adventurers if they attempt a long rest. The root of evil in the minds is ever growing. Okay. Domnall is a ghost of a dwarf who lived into the Slihan Gyusel before its fall to the orcs. Oh, I thought it was just abandoned. Apparently, oh no, I was thinking of the other place, High Bastion. High Bastion was abandoned. This one, because it's in the tunnels, got taken over by the orcs. Got it. He wishes to help the adventurers purge the tunnels of the creatures that have invaded and desecrated the ancient dwarven altar found deeper into the tunnels. It's quote, it's charged so much Oh, it's changed so much. Oh man, my brain is not working anymore. All for the worse. Wouldn't realize how good we had it. Okay. And we get, oh, our magic item, an unbreakable arrow. The ghost gives the character Shadow that has a name, Shadow Needle. Oh, I need that. I need that. Lore. There's an unbreakable arrow called Shadow Needle. Because if we have, let's say, as part of the story, probably in the future, and then you have to the characters get the chance to hit the enemy with something, or there's only one thing that can kill this thing, and that's, we can say that it's Shadow Needle, something like that. Or Shadow Needle belongs to an unbreakable construct or an unbreakable monster, right? And you have the shadow monster. I don't know. We'll come up with something good, but this unbreakable arrow probably came from something, right? So who made Shadow Needle? So that one we can explore in future storylines. And then we have the Darkling ambush. As the adventurers travel to Slihan Gyosel, they encounter a Darkling ambush. Based on the average party levels, okay, we can kind of skip that. Perception check, we have Darklings, Darkling Elder. They slip out the shadows, they sneak attack, split up the attacks. Alright, this is kind of like strategy and adjustments. Okay, we're gonna skip that part. And then we have the Stolen Gem. When the adventurers encounter the Darklings, they find a ritual gem that was stolen from Seat Stalagborn. Though attractive, the gem is of a crystal lacking significant value and is only worth something to Seat Stalagborn. If the party opts not to return the gem to Seat Stalagborn, one character may choose to keep this gem as a trinket. Okay. Alright. Forged by the Sverfneblin as a symbol of their unity, bound by magic and never break, the Shadow Needle represents the sewing of a tapestry of diplomacy. Just making stuff up. Yeah, good job. Yeah, we can definitely. That could definitely be one way of describing Shadow Needle's, origins or its original purpose. I was thinking more like a Shadow Needle being an unbreakable arrow is part of like an unbreakable weapon set. So there's like the quiver that holds all of these unbreakable arrows, and then you have the unbreakable bow, like the string doesn't break. And then there's that hero that wielded these weapons and arrow, and they called him, something the unbreakable. That's what I'm thinking. Or it could be like just a construct, an unbreakable construct. It could be a warforge or something that looks like steel, from like Superman's ally. Could be like that. I don't know. That's what my brain is telling me. Gate to the Unknown, the title of the adventure. After some time exploring Slihan Gyosel, interacting with the noble seats, and encountering monsters, the party come across the Gate to the Unknown. Here we go. Up ahead, a crack in the tunnel wall glows with an ominous purple light. The light flares at the crack's entrance and pushes inward, illuminating a series of glyphs that have been carved into the crack's walls. stretching deep into the rock of Sligan Gisel. Unearthly whispers fill your mind. It's nearly done. Some say in the whispers, soon the gnome shall fall, whispers others. The silent depths shall rise to claim Slayon Gliosol. Explain yet more whispers. Something ominous is happening with it. Oh, so this is like the southern part, that's the one that's sealed off, right? Which they call the silent depths. So this feels like, in like if you're like deep in the ocean and then you find like a hidden civilization of like scary monsters, or not civilization, but like, yeah, or probably, yeah, like a group of scary monsters like in deep in the depths or like in outer space, kind of alien like. I feel like this is something like that, a movie like that, or from the comics probably. I'm thinking Aquaman. I know there's like deep in the ocean, there's like a group of like merman predators that live there. Uh, and this feels like it's like that. Uh, the crack extends 500 feet down into the stone below the tunnel, eventually leading to an area of Slihan Gisel, long abandoned uh, and sealed off by the dwarves. This abandoned area has been reclaimed by malevolent forces and renamed the Silent Depths. When the adventurers discovered the gate, a dark guardian in the silent depths beyond, tending a ritual that would expand the opening and let more monsters through. The adventurers must venture within to stop the ritual or risk endangering those who dwell in Sligan Gisel. Once the adventurers are ready, we can go to part 4. Yeah, Cthulhu Sleeping City. Yep. Or now I remember. If you watch Yu Yu Hakusho Ghost Fighter, I doubt it. If you're in the Philippines, you've probably seen it. But yeah, Yu Yu Hakusho, there's a part where Sensui was actually like trying to break the barrier from like the demon world into the material world. And then like on the other side, like all the demons just want to come out. It feels something like that. That's the vibes that I'm getting. Okay. Last one. Oh boy. All right. Area 1, so that means there are more areas. Okay. Another 90 minutes. I'm gonna be here for some time, sages. All right. The adventurers delve into a long abandoned dwarven hold, taken over by horrible creatures. There, they might destroy the orb that is allowing Huden to summon shadowy monsters into the silent depths. All right, and then we go to Appendix 3C. All right, let's see how many areas we have to go through. Oh, that is long. That's like 4 or 5 pages. 3C. All right, B. Oh, this is big. Area 11. Am I reading this right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, there's 14 again. No, there's more. 12, 13, 14. Oh man. We can do it. We can do this. We can do this. I still have the energy. My brain is probably like a 10%, but I think we can do it. All right. When my brain goes to 1%, then we'll call it quits. Right now, I think we can still do it because what I'm interested in is Lady or Liza's involvement here? That's what I need to know. Lady Eliza Darrison, who is the viceroy of Westphal in the Isle of Snowdown. So in like 4-1, they made she's the one who did that security scam, right? After making a deal with a dark fae hag named Granny, right? And here we learn about Huden, who's kind of like a traitor or slash spy druid. And I want to know if like if they're working together, what's the plan and what's this threat, right? That could what's this new threat that could destroy Alaron and the Moonshae Isles. So that's what I'm interested in. That's what I want to know. And we're going to go through 14 areas to find out. Okay? We're going to go through 14 areas to find out. Wow. Okay. I think there's a lot of words here. I think that's why I'm getting tired. Like the word count here. Actually, you know what? Let's check the word count. From I don't think I can check the word count in PDF. Is there a No. There's no counter here. Or yeah, no. Never mind. Too much effort. All right, let's go. Let's use my the remaining 10% of my brain to get this done. The purple glow pulses all around you as you enter the glyph-carved tunnel. Tingles wash over your skin with each pulse of light as the waves of some unknown energy accompany each flare. The tunnel descends 100 feet down a steep grade into the rock of Slihan Gyusel before opening up what was once must have been a large subterranean garden of sorts. The vast cavern is covered in giant mushrooms, some growing to 3 feet tall. Statues of dwarves in various poses covered in moss and what's this? I don't know how to pronounce this. The dude is to be. Lichen. Alright. Lichen dot. The fungal garden. A clear path traces its way through the garden. See, this is. I think this is my. Is this a pet peeve? Probably. Or something that just borderline annoys me as a person, I think. Is when words repeat and that because I know it's been happening with Sling and Gisel. There are words that like every other like the word dark keeps repeating. And that kind of destroys the flow of when you're doing storytelling. Definitely not a pet peeve. This is definitely a lot of repetition. Yeah, because it disrupts you're trying to tell a story, and then you say a word, and then you say the same word, like in the next sentence. Worse if it's in the same sentence, right? And it makes the one listening confused, or at least they lose focus because you already mentioned it, but then you're going back there. What's going on? Or is so yeah. You know what it might be? It might be that the effect when you just say a word and it starts to lose meaning, except you're hitting it across multiple words. Yeah, exactly. I think that is it. I think we're able to, yeah, if we do a root cause analysis here, I think we're able to figure it out. I think that's it, because that the Sli and Gisel, how many times have I mentioned that, right? Because in my head, I stop caring. I stop caring if I'm mispronouncing it or not, because I know I've been saying it so many times. Uh, so that one, in terms of writing, yeah, I make an effort. I know it's hard. It's not easy. When you're writing, and then, for example, you say the characters need to run, and then on your next sentence, do you say the characters again? No, you try to avoid, and you say, characters trying to run, and they must first grab the hammer. All right. And then if anyone grabs the hammer, instead of saying if the characters grab the hammer, basically just stop repeating as much as possible. Try not to repeat the same words. Or that's wrong. Try stop repeating words uh, in like in a paragraph, or as much as possible, right? So at least you will have like a continuous flow, and uh, not as distracting as I thought it was just me. But then I realized no, it's not. There's a lot of repetition here. So there. That's just one of my tips. I'm not sure if that's a great tip or not, but that's from me. I'm not a fan of it, and therefore I try to avoid doing it. Okay, there. This is where having diverse vocabulary. I think the author does have. I think Jay have excellent vocabulary, because there's a lot of words here that some of us are, or just me, having a hard time, not having a hard time, but there are a lot of words here that I'm not familiar with or not used to saying. So definitely uh, knows a lot of words. The vocabulary is like really big, but the repetition, that's the one that kind of gets me. As pattern-seeking creatures, we ironically actually hate mechanical, steady patterns and find complex one more aesthetically pleasing generally. Yeah, really? That I'm not sure, but if that's the case, then that's probably it. Um, but yeah, but now we figured it out. So now we're gonna be vigilant, and now we're gonna put all the blame into repetition of words whenever we see it. I'm so sorry. Okay. We're gonna continue. A clear path traces its way through the garden, leading to what looks like an observation terrace built into the cavern wall. Staircases on either side of the terrace leads up to the garden, to the terrace. See, there we go. Here we go. One. Okay. Two. Three. And then if you read from here, that one. Okay. No. So I know this is not related to lore, but again, this is again, I'm not sure if it's pet peeve or Chad is saying is there's definitely a lot of repetition of words here, but yeah, that one kind of um instead of having a good flow of storytelling, description of what's going on, it kind of gets disrupted when you have a lot of repetition here. So a tip or a suggestion if you're writing, avoid repetition of words, um, especially if you have readers like me. I'm so sorry. It's just me, and that's it. Uh, yeah, that one. All right, so we're gonna move past that. There's no danger and nothing of note in this garden. A narrow stairway leading down from the terrace into the cavern wall. However, climbing down into area 1, which in turn leads into the monster infested portions of the silent depths. All right. Also, try reading out loud your words back to see if the flow of the works out loud. Yes, exactly. Part of my editing process, again, I think all the people that I work with, um, especially the ones that have edited my adventures, they know that I suck when it comes to grammar. Um, yeah, that's one of the biggest, if not the biggest, uh, obstacle as to why I didn't start writing early, because I thought I don't know how to write. Uh, I have all these stories in my head, but I cannot convey them and transform my thoughts into written words, something that can be and make sure that it's the same thing, what's in my head and what's written on paper. Uh, but I still try to do it and everything. So that is my weakness. But part of how I edit my work is, after making changes, I read the whole adventure out loud and then see if the flow makes sense. Not just the box text, but even the instructions. Um, the and then one part that um, I try to edit is, if it's in the box text, if it describes something in the box text, then I don't need to describe it outside the box text, right? So usually the things outside the box text, this one that's inside the box, is instructions for the dungeon master who's running it. And if I already said that the sky is blue in the box text, I'm not gonna put it outside and say that, the sky with the blue sky or something like that. So, um, reading it out loud, making sure that it flows right, it reads, or it's easy to read. There you go. I think that's the right term. That one. Um, that If you have the time to do that during your editing process, if you're writing an adventure, that would be great. Yeah. Anyway, going back. The Silent Depths has the following general features. So the halls and corridors of the Silent Depths are visibly of dwarven make and are sized as such. Much of the stonework has survived the neglect of over a century of abandonment. Subterranean flora has overgrown parts of the complex, but most of its stone remains uncovered. The floors and walls are generally smooth, except in the garden and exterior terrace portions. Light, so it's dark. Okay. Smells and sound. Dank fungal odor, stale air, remains of blood and carnage, water flowing through caverns, echoes of footsteps on stones. Okay. Got it. Let's go. Let's go through this. Area 1, Entry Hall. The narrow stairway exits into a 15-foot square room. Sheets of fungi grow along the walls, covering up angular patterns carved into the stone. Okay, there's really nothing here. Then we get to the armory. This room contains a number of weapons leaning against the racks that line the east and west walls. Let's see if there's anything here. We get weapons, and then they were worn, but the character may take and use any of the items above. Alright, but they fall apart at the end of the adventure. Okay. Guard station. Short stairway descends into this warm and humid room. The walls, ceiling, and floor are completely covered in some sort of dark gray, sticky, chitinous substance. Doors on either side of the room peer just beneath the strange layer. What do we have here? After a nature check, it reveals a hexagonal cell-like structures. Something similar in like a bee or wasp hive. But what is it? If we approach it, there are 3 insectory nightmares. Wow, using maw demons with stat changes. Okay. Do they attack? As soon as the monsters attack, the adventurers' heads are filled with telepathic chatter from the attacking Fae. Okay. The Fae are unable to speak or make vocal sound. Instead, they insanely spouted crude obscenities at the dwarven telepathically while they attack. Okay. Alright. And we have adjustments. So this is combat. As soon as we get to the guard station, if we get close to that hexagonal shape part on the wall, then yeah, they attack us. All right, cutting through the chatter. Oh, there's something here. The voice cannot be understood, but seems to exhibit a greater intelligence, perhaps even guiding or ordering around the attacking monsters. Seemingly, in response to this voice, the monsters telepathically say, "We obey, Huden. We obey." None of the monsters can tell that adventurers who or what Huden is. Huh. So they've been influenced by the half-elf dwarf. Okay. Druid. Half-elf druid. There you go. Opening the doors. The closed doors that lead out of this room are partially contained. Okay. Alright, so we can open it. If the adventurer set the door leading to area 4, ignites, so it's trapped. Okay, good. Antechamber. A terrible stench fills the room itself, filled with a gruesome sight. The room is a veritable charnel house, lined wall to wall with partially eaten, rotting corpses. Most are deep gnomes, clad in the various fashions of Slihan Gisel, though there are a few human commoners mixed in as well. Man, I really hope we get something about Lady Erliza here and Huden at the end. If the characters ignited the methane gas, the bodies here are charred and either smoldering or burning outright. If they didn't ignite the methane gas in this room, the gas, okay. Alright, okay, we're skipping that. Again, we're skipping the part because, again, these are room descriptions and what's happening in the room. There's really no lore in these parts. So unless there is, then we're going to read that. Okay. We're trying to preserve that remaining 10%, 9% energy in my brain. So makeshift treasure room. A short series of steps lead down to a room blocked off by rusted iron bars. A variety of chests and crates occupy the room beyond. Okay. Okay. And then there's a small brass lock tucked away with none of the crates contain an alabaster plate depicting a dwarf cleric riding a giant. Oh, hey, this is the one that one of the seats are looking for. So we can go back to the seats. So we go back to part 3, we go back to the seats, and we give them this alabaster plate. Oh, okay. The door, and then we get to the terrace. The door into this area opens up into onto a stone terrace that overlooks a garden, similar to the fungal garden that led into this complex. The door into this area opens up onto a stone terrace that overlooks a garden, similar to the fungal garden that led into this complex. Okay. We discussed it, we identified it, so we're just gonna skip through that. If the adventurers set the door into this area on fire or ignite the methane gas, okay? Skip that. Ritual cavern. I think there's something here. So we're gonna read this. A staircase descends into the garden, the ground of which slopes downward toward the underground stream that cuts through the far end of the cavern. The entire cavern floor is covered in even larger giant mushrooms, some growing to 6 feet tall. Wow. Stairway ascends into the unseen room to the west. The stone of the cavern's southern wall has been carved into an immense altar that stretches all the way to the ceiling. Dwarven runes cover the altar, but these have been defaced by other, more sinister looking glyphs that glow a familiar purple light. Okay, so it won't hurt the party, but they might hide monsters listed below. When the party approaches, this happens. A large hole has been gouged in the center of the altar, about 3 feet above the cavern floor. A broken 1-foot diameter orb rests in the gouge itself, radiating an ominous purple glow. The orb's light pulses, and the purple glyphs on the wall pulses with it. The ritual spell that keeps the gate to the unknown open was cast here, and it's feeding off the magic within the broken orb. Huden has recruited Dark Fate to guard the orb and make sure that the ritual isn't disrupted. And that's why we see a Bulazao and the Wretched nearby. If the guardians are alerted of the party's presence, okay, notice them. If the monsters are hiding, they attack the adventurers once they wade through the steam and move past through the altar wall. Okay. Some adjustment that these monsters are fey creatures instead of fiend. Okay. The broken orb. The orb's magic powers the spell that maintains the gate. In order to prevent the monstrous forces from further invading Slean Gisel, the orb must be destroyed or taken away from the silent depths. Okay. The orb has 25 hit points, immune to necrotic. Okay. And if the orb is destroyed and the alabaster plate with a dwarven hero is laid upon the altar in its place, a holy nimbus of light baits the shrine. Any Fae in a 30 feet suffer 3 levels of exhaustion immediately and are unable to move towards the shrine. Any Fae, so even the good Fae. So if you have a familiar that's Fae, a mount, probably no mounts because it's tier 1. If you have a familiar that's Fae, if I know this was written like 4 or 5 years ago, or 4 or 3 years ago. But now we have like fairy races. We have a fairy race. What else do we have? I don't think Harangon is Fae, but I know fairy is Fae. So that's gonna have a problem here if you have that. The ghost of Donal appears in the cleric robes of Dumatoin. Dumatoin is a dwarven god of... I forgot. Let's see. The dwarven deity of mining and underground exploration, also known as the keeper of secrets under the mountain. Also protector of the dwarven dead. Okay. So that's the one here. Okay. Dwarven it's right there. It's the next part. Oh, I don't know why I didn't read it. But doing the dwarven god of secrets under the mountain. And thanks to adventurers, in reward, he casts Mass Cure Wounds, okay, on all players, on all characters. All right, something also for... I think this is on the editing part, because everybody, not everyone, but a lot of people, a lot of adventure writers make this mistake. I make this mistake all the time. But you don't unless you want your players to do, like the players to do certain action, then you refer to them as players. But if you're talking about the characters that the players are using, then you use the term characters, right? And the DM is also a player, yes. So yeah, but no, when you say, because you're not gonna mass cure wounds the players, so you're gonna mass cure wounds the players' characters, right? And then yeah, so you have the players, which you use the term when you're addressing the players. Like for example, hand the players Appendix B, which is a map of something like that, right? Or if the players sing a song, then they automatically their character automatically succeeds the check. So that's how you would use the term player when adventure writing. Everything else that you want the characters to do, you use the term character. And then you use the term adventurer when you're telling a story. Like in the background, adventure background, like the adventurers have traveled from the Isle of Moray to the Isle of Alaron, right? So when you're telling a story to whoever's reading this this product, then you use the term adventure. But if you're giving instructions for a character to do something, you use characters. And then if you're giving instructions for the players to do something, then you do players. But those three terms, juggle them around, a lot of mistakes. So I think this is more on the editing side. But yeah. Like when Bran hands the characters the map, give the players appendix. Exactly. Appendix 1. Yep. That's it. So I know I said we're not gonna focus on these things, but yeah, as we see it, might as well, right? The stream. This shallow 3-foot deep stream flows rapidly through the room, entering from a natural vent on the east wall and exiting through a similar vent on the west wall. Its bed is gravely... Yeah, it is definitely... its bed is gravelly? Yeah, gravelly. And this, combined with this rapid flow of water, makes the entire stream difficult terrain. If a character is either pushed or knocked prone into the stream, they must succeed a strength check or be swept away by the current. Okay, we have that. Telepathic monsters. Like the shadow monsters in Area 3, the monsters do not speak. Instead, they crudely insult and berate the adventurers. So here, instead of adventurers, you use the characters. use the term character because again, they berate the character telepathically throughout the fight. Between obscenities, the party can make out the name Huden. Okay. It looks like the farther in we get to the adventure, the editing gets worse and worse. All right, all right. The formatting is also having some problems. All right. You have that, so we're gonna skip it. Development in area 3, the characters with perception, passive perception. Hear another almost inaudible voice beneath the telepathic insults. The voice cannot be understood, but seems to exhibit greater intelligence, perhaps even guiding or ordering around or attacking monsters. If the orb is destroyed, any creatures remaining wailed horribly in dismay before disappearing in explosions of brimstone and ash. If the orb is removed from its place, the spell holding in its place is interrupted. Okay, noted. Destroying or taking the orb causes the gate of the unknown to start collapsing. And we must escape. The adventurers must escape. All right, the characters must escape and the risk of being trapped in the silent depths. Okay. The brain dead occurred to the editor as well. Maybe. I don't know. Huden, what's up with the broken orb? All right, yeah, what's up with the broken orb? We want to know. Thank you, author, for giving us a sidebar. Huden used the broken orb to power a ritual that alters the stone leading from the silent depths into Slihan Giesel. After activating the ritual, the renegade druid left the caverns to report to the Ancili court, leaving the ritual to slowly mold the stone open and create a glyph-ridden tunnel that connects the two locations. Okay? The tunnel has been steadily growing over the past 10 days, allowing some smaller creatures to venture out into Slihan Giesel North. Okay? The ritual has almost built up enough energy to expand the tunnel further and allow larger, deadlier creatures to invade the dwarven caverns. The magic stone shaping ritual allows the Ancili Fate to create the tunnel without using conventional digging methods or digging creatures. The tremors caused by using such non-magical means would surely alert the gnomes of their activity. Set it and forget it. Alright, yeah, okay. The pestilence nightmare wears a fine necklace around its neck with a crimson jewel mounted onto it. The necklace is a periap of health. Oh, we got another item. We got 2 items. Once belonged to a wizard named Porphyrio. Oh, this one's good. Crimson jewel mounted into it. All right. That one is good. There's a fine necklace with a crimson jewel. Mounted onto it. Which is a periap of health. That once belonged to a wizard named Porphyrio. Okay. Is Porphyrio still alive? Is Perferio still here in D&D? No. Okay. Mm, I'm seeing some. I'm looking at Google right now and trying to find the name Perferio. There's a Greyhawk Perferio. There's a Beyond the Crystal Cave adventure. It's also in Greyhawk, so you have Perforio. Let's doing some. You have Porphyrios Garden, basically. So maybe Porphyrio is a Greyhawk wizard that's here. Okay. I feel like these kinds of magical items are perfect for tier 1 because they're so valuable to the common folk that they get an adventurer to go get them. But in the grand scheme of things, aren't very valuable. Yeah, but the flavor of these magic items are great. And smaller, tighter, more personal lore goes with it, Cheryl. Yeah, I love the lore. I mean the flavor behind these items. If the party destroys or removes the orb, they get the Dark Face Watchful Eye Story Award. All right, so here it's been mentioned that Huden reports to the Ancili Court, right? And where else? I think it's been used here another time. There. The magic stone shaping ritual allows the Ancili Fae to create a tunnel. But if we destroy the orb, it is the Dark Fae's watchful eye that we get. So I think here, right? They're using it. It has the same meaning. Like Ancili Court and Dark Fae are the same. Which can cause confusion, but I think in this context, yeah, Ancili Fae and then the Dark Fae that's watching it, because who's the Dark Fae that's watching us? The Fae from the Ancili Court. So that's what I'm thinking. Anyway, moving forward. Area 8. Nightmare's Quarters. An intense putrid smell fills this room. The floor is covered in bones, bloody remnants, and piles of refuse. Probably should have been the Ancili Court's watchful. Yes, but no. But what I'm trying to say is, I think the Ancili Court, so the Ancili Fae, the Fae in the Ancili Court, and the Dark Fae are the same thing. All right. So another way to address the Faes of the Ancili Court is by calling them Dark Fae. Right, which should not be the case, but I think from these adventures that we've been reading, they're the same thing, right? Just so we can get a better understanding of what the adventures are trying to tell us. I think here it's the same thing. The pestilence nightmare guarding the orb claimed the room as its own, and the face horrible stench. Okay, so this is why it smells. And then we have another guard station. Have nothing there. Web room. There's a spider. Okay. And then you have the pit room. At the center of the room is dominated by a 10-foot diameter pit. What's here in this pit? There's webs. 5 chitines. I don't even know what these monsters are. What are they? Let's try to look. It's from Volos originally, but now we use the one from More Than Kind Presents. So these are like, oh, they look like the Shinigami from Death Note, the one who loves apples, but it has 4 arms and like 6 eyes. That's what it looks like. And they're dedicated to LOL. Okay. Chitines? Is that? Yeah, probably. That's probably how I pronounce it. Anyway, so they're here, they're hiding, and then we fight them. Okay? And then we have makeshift prison cells. A sloping corridor stretches ahead. 2 doors line each of the east and west walls. Moans and whimpers for help in Gnomish dialect rise from the closed cell. Oh, this is where the gnomes that have been kidnapped. That's where they're here. All right, looks like there's some stuff here. So let's continue reading. The rooms beyond the doors are sleeping quarters of goblinoids now gone on to serve the great Gark. Okay, shackles hammered into the wall indicated the rooms are meant to contain prisoners. Uncomfortable-looking straw sleeping pallets are laid out on the floor. Several beaten deep gnomes, future sacrifices, are chained to the prison cells. They were overpowered by the Dark Fae and brought here between 1 or 2 days ago. Prisoners include Lord Hammerwell of the Gambling Hall and Matron Wordsayer of the Great Library and Master Workwright of the Scribe. They offer thanks and will support High Bastion with what meager resources they possess in gratitude for their rescue. If we miss the secret door, Lord Hammerwell will point it out as an example of clever dwarven design that was overlooked by the Fae. Okay. He also mentions overheating. Oh, the brain is below 5%. Where was that? Where was the overheating part? Overhearing conversations between a corrupted druid named Huden and the Dark Fae. Hammerwell speaks Sylvan that an invasion is being planned against Scare Caladir and the High King. This is what I want to know. All right. Remember, in Moon 3 trilogy, the orcs just want to drive away the dwarves in the Fair Height range. But there's a shadow dragon that was able to escape Shadowfell, wants a new home, decided to live where the Carewell is at, which is under Fair Height range. And then once the Shadow Dragon was able to conquer the mountains, the next one is the whole Isle of Alaron, then the Moonshaes. Same thing with Queen Koname of where is that in our map? Of Vortomil in Oman, the Queen of Amorians, also wants to invade Alaron, as she expands her kingdom, her fake kingdom, right? And then now, do we have a new player? I think we have another Fae that wants to conquer Alaron. Plan against Ker Caladir and the High King. Okay. But we don't know who. Will we find out who it is? A secret door that leads to Area 13 rests close on the northern wall. Alright. Passive perception. There's really nothing there. Okay, we don't know. The name was not given. Or the group was not given. Secret room. There's a dust choke room. The room contains a small dais upon which a glyph of Moradin is carved. Adventurers will say a prayer to Moradin while standing on the dais to gain the benefit of a short rest. Okay. Do we need an... Okay. I guess we do need another short rest. Okay. And then deeper in, the corridor leads out onto a ledge overlooking an immense cavern. A stream flows through a natural vent on the east wall. Its waters running westward beneath the bridge that spans the stream before spilling down a waterfall that drops into an underground lake 100 feet below the ledge. A small path leads off the ledge, tracing its way along the eastern cavern wall and down to the cavern floor far below. Looking down into the cavern, you see an unsettling sight. Hundreds of monsters have built some sort of camp below. More unsettling is that the variety of monsters that roam the camp, goblinoids, kobolds, ogres, troglodytes, and many others that you can't identify. Banners, hey, you underestimate my knowledge, good sir. Banners hang from standards throughout the camp, and leaders bark orders to various creatures. What you see before you is no simple gathering. An invasion force rallies within silent depths. Oh, who's leading them? The camp is far enough below that the adventurers haven't attracted the notice of anyone in the camp. There are too many monsters for the adventurers to handle, and it will be best for the characters to retreat at this time rather than to remain. What if, because I designed something similar to this before, that, you know, you are faced with an overwhelming force. But what if the adventurers decide to take them on? Because, remember, at the beginning of the adventure, High King Darid doesn't have any soldiers to spare, right? He can't send an army. But instead, since he heard that us adventurers are heading to Ker Caladir, we're the replacement to that army, right? So since we are equivalent to an army, and your player gives you that, rationale, are you gonna let them dive and fight goblinoids, kobolds, ogres, troglodytes, and many others that we can't identify? And yes, enjoy your ability to give your players a TPK. I guess that's what's gonna happen. Destroying or taking the orb. So this is what happens if we take it from the altar or destroy it. The purple glyph on the altar wall flickers and dim. One by one, the glyphs lose their light. As the glyph dies out, its purple light traces a path back towards the entrance to the underground complex. From that direction, the sound of grinding stone starts to echo through the area. With the orb's power removed, the stone molding spell keeping the gate to the unknown open begins to unravel. The adventurers must escape through the tunnel before it collapses. They have just enough time to resolve combat. Oops, what happened? if necessary, but no time to explore any other portions of the silent depths they may have missed. If they choose to escape, they do so just in time to burst through into Slihan Gyusel before the tunnel seals itself behind them. If any of the characters dawdle, they miss their opportunity to escape. They arrive at the gate's location to find it sealed and must search for another way back to the surface. And they receive the Trap Below Story Award. You're not getting out anymore. And then we have conclusion. We did it. We did it, sages. We're here. At the end. This is it. Let's read through it. What happens? I need to know. Huden, who does he work for? Who's the leader of this army? Let's go. Once the adventurers have explored the silent depths, they should have encountered the orb and they may have seen the invasion force in the cavern beyond. If the adventurers leave the orb alone, again, we already addressed this, the gate remains open and grows to a large size after a few days. The deep gnome seats band together and send a contingency of soldiers to guard the portal. Though nothing comes through immediately, a sense of dread, anticipation fills the tunnels. It seems to be more a question of when something will come out rather than if something will come out to threaten Slihan Gyusel once again. If we destroyed or removed the orb and sealed the gates to the unknown, they managed to delay the Unseelie Phase plan and Svirfneblin of Slihan Gyusel finally finds some peace, and each character receives the Dark Face Watcher Eye Story Award. Yep. If an adventurer dueled with Burrow, Warden, Elena Shelfvein in part 1, she orders her sorcerers to cast a protective ward over the characters, removing the Dark Fae Watcher Eye Story Award if they earned it. Regardless of whether the gate is sealed or not, talks between Deep Known Seats and High Bastion begins. Much to Burrow, Warden Elena's, and Speaker Kiaran JT's pleasure. High Bastion sends a squad of gnomes to accompany the adventurers back to Caer Caladir, where High King Dared warmly receives them. The gnomes also pledge to attempt to clear out the tunnels and try to re-establish contact with dwarven clans to the mountainous north. Perhaps a trade route can be established eventually and unite the various races on Alaron? So nope, we didn't get the answers. Are we gonna see more of Huden in the future? I hope so. Huden is working for the Unseelie Fae. That last sentence and comparing the invasion army, are we coming to alliance versus alliance, would be cool. Well, we don't know. We don't know. I guess we have to read more to see if this part will be answered. If this particular thread will be tied and, sealed correctly, will be addressed or will be forgotten, and we will see. And then, so what else do we have here? So we have the organizations. I saw the comment for this module. Hi, I've been enjoying running this module for my home campaign and wanted to know if the Druid Huden was going to make an appearance in future module. I only ask my players will likely be looking to claim vengeance for all the gnomes he slaughtered. Oh, hopefully. We'll see. Um, we're only in Moon 4. We have like 16 Moon trilogies or 15 Moon trilogies and 1 Moon 20 to read. So, there. Anyway, magic item unlock. We have these, so we're gonna read through it. We have the stats. We have the item, the maps. The maps are good. This one, I like it. I like this one. The build-up hate against the fallen druid Huden is real. Yes, that's why I hope it gets addressed, right? In future adventures. He murdered like four seats, right? 3 or 4 seats. That's like 3 or 4 families of gnomes. Or he tried, yeah. No. He did. There are dead bodies there, but the leaders were taken as prisoners. Right? Oh, he tried to murder all of them. Yeah, he did. He did try to murder all of them, but he got to like 3 to 4 seats and then kidnapped the leaders. So anyway, what do we have here? So Porphyrio's heart. It's an uncommon item. This crimson heart-shaped jewel hangs from a delicate silver chain. On it is inscribed, "My dearest Porphyrio, sealer of my fate, may you forgive me for the choices I made and must further make. May your garden," I think it is the Greyhawk Porphyrio, because in Greyhawk there is Porphyrio's garden. So, may your garden flourish until the end of time. I love you with all of my broken heart. Eternally yours, Ariel. Let me go back to my wiki here. Is there an Ariel? Nope, there's no Ariel here. But there is a Greyhawk campaign, the Greyhawk adventure module called Beyond the Crystal Cave. And there, it mentions Porphyrio's garden. And it's about the heroes must resolve the secret of the crystal cave to enter Porphyrio's garden. Okay. So, yeah. Let's see. I think this is a Greyhawk reference. And then you have the item. Does it have a fluff? No. One of the... Oh, here we go. Prospero and April by Shakespeare. Probably. The one, yeah. It's either, yep, the old adventures were inspired by the Shakespeare, and this is probably it. But yeah. Does the Shakespeare... I haven't read Tempest, so I don't know. In Tempest, does Prospero have a garden? I'm assuming Prospero has a garden. That's probably it. So it's either a reference to the old adventure or it's from the work of Shakespeare. There you go. Anyway, on to the next one. Shadow Needle. One of the 20 unbreakable arrows crafted with Shadow Song, the Oath Bow. See? I knew it. So you have a weapon here for it. When fired, the wielder may say, "Needles, return to your thread to make this arrow and any other in its set loose from the wielder's hand reappear in the wielder's quiver." Yeah, nice. This one is good. I like this. So this is one of Shadow Song's arrows. I love it. All right, this one is cool. This is really cool. Yeah. And then you have the story award, the dark face, watchful eye. You have destroyed or taken possession of a shadowy artifact of the dark fae, with origins that may have roots in the Ancili court. This one is clear. You have destroyed or taken possession of a shadowy artifact that belongs to the dark fae, with origins that may have roots in the Ancili court. It belongs to the dark fae, but it was originally made in the Ancili court. The dark fae have marked you, their malicious eyes watching you from afar. What plans might the dark fae have for you? Okay. Also, the way it's written, made with Shadow Song, you might get the false impression that Shadow Song bow makes them, but more likely they were made alongside. Yeah. And then the last one, I have to scroll this one. Oops, what did I do? There we go. Trap below. What happens here? You were unable to make it through the gate to the unknown before it sealed itself and found yourself trapped underground for some time, undergoing harrowing ordeals as you search for another way back to the surface. Through determination and no shortage of luck, you survived long enough to find a group of Zwerfneblin who will help you return to your world above. You must spend eventually pay 30 downtime days, which is a month, to pay off this debt. Okay, so you lose 30 downtime days because of that. And that is it. This is the last page. We did it. We did it, sages. I'm so proud of you. Those that are still with us, good job. We survived. We did it. And I don't know how, but we did. And now we are done with the Moon4 trilogy. Congratulations. That's 4 out of 20 done. So close. No, not really. We're not close. But we're making progress. And tomorrow, when my brain is able to get some more sleep, then we'll start Moon5 series, the Moon5 trilogy. Okay. And now I'm excited. Like, let's take a sneak peek. Sneak peek just before we end this stream. Let's see what's in store for us tomorrow. Okay. Moon5-1. Let's see what it's all about. Bloodlust Rising. Oh, are we going back to Moray? Blood Black Tribe is what comes to my mind right away. Bloodlust Rising. Oh, is this gonna be a Moray trilogy? I don't know. Wait. Let's see. But now I'm excited. Oh man, I can't wait. I want to read it now, but no. Anyway, to all the sages who stayed here, thank you for thank you for staying with me. Good job grinding with me and extracting as much lore as we can. We didn't get any conclusion about what happened to Huden, but Huden is still alive. What happens to him next? Who's invading us? The Ancili Fae? The Ancili Fae under the leadership of who? Right? Who wants to invade? Alaron. Okay. Or Ker Caladir and the High King wants to kill him. No answers in Moon4 trilogy. So hopefully in the future we'll find out who that is. So that's it for us. That's it for Lore Academia for today. Thank you for staying. And tomorrow again, if this is your first time here, our stream is every Monday. Well, damn it, 1%, 2% brain. Our stream happens every Monday to Thursday, 11 p.m. Manila or 10 a.m. Eastern time. So join us Monday to Thursday. And then if you miss it, it's okay. Our stream will be, the VODs will be on Twitch. And if it gets deleted, it will be uploaded on YouTube. Just have to skip a bit there because of the music and stuff. But I'm learning how to edit and remove that. So there, that's it. Thank you, everyone. Next time, see you. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.